Live broadcast of Naruto begins with a movie The Death of Naruto. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 701. You are a Senju man. If possible, I don't want us to have the same ideas, because our brothers died at each other's hands. Madara's words reminded Hashirama of his two dead brothers, and Madara also had the same memories, saying in a cold tone, "So, there is no need for us to be open-hearted. From now on, we will meet on the battlefield." Senju Hashirama, I am. Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara is not as persistent as the first Hokage. Compared with the pursuit of peace, does he still value his clan members more at this time? If he can persist, maybe he will not embark on the path of infinite moon reading, who knows? Anyway, I don't care about this hypothetical situation, unless Shyunmu shows a parallel world with similar development. Uchiha Madara is quite honest. He thinks he is not as strong as the first Hokage. Who can expect that he will become the kind of person who doesn't take everyone seriously in the future? This is a complete opposition. The emergence of Konoha is still a long way off. Speaking of me, there is a question. It is known that only the first Hokage of the Senju clan has demonstrated wood release. So without the bloodline limit, how did the other ninjas of the Senju clan manage to be on par with the Uchiha clan? Even if there are not many ninjas in the Uchiha clan who can open the main Gekyo, there should be no shortage of ninjas who can open the three Magatama. You dare to ask such a question. Even without the bloodline limit of wood release, the ninjas of the Senju clan are also known for their high chakra. The same moves will be multiplied in the hands of the Senju clan. Yamato, why do you think they can compete with Uchiha? You asked the wrong question. It should be said that Uchiha relied on the Sharingan to maintain a situation of equal strength with the Senju clan. It was not the wood release that was strong, but the first Hokage. Yamato is the best negative example. Yamato, why are you using me as an example again? I'm not a ninja from the Senju clan. At that time, I seemed to understand what it meant for Madara's Sharingan to open. He completely erased me, his friend, from his heart. Since then, we have become enemies, fighting day after day. When we came to our senses, we have become the heads of the clan, standing in the farthest place from our original dreams. As the first Hokage narrated, scenes of the two people confronting each other flashed on the sky, from the sword duel in their youth, to the wood release and fire release in their youth, until they became the heads of their respective clans in their prime. The war has been going on without a break. The casualties of Senju and Uchiha are getting more and more severe. Finally, on this day, even Uchiha Izuna, the second in command, was not spared and was severely injured by Tobira's flying thunder god slash, which tilted the balance of victory towards Senju. Banara, you can't beat me, stop. Let's end it all. Facing Madara, who was supporting Izuna, Hashirama advised earnestly, if the strongest Uchiha and Senju in the ninja clan join forces, the countries will no longer find a ninja clan that can fight against us, and in this way, the struggle will gradually disappear. Madara was silent, but the seriously injured Izuna had no intention of giving in, so Madara once again ignored Hashirama's invitation and evacuated with the remaining Uchiha clan members. Although I know I shouldn't say this, friends are like consumables to Uchiha. You can get the Sharingan by sacrificing friendship, and you can get the main Gekyo by sacrificing the life of a friend. Being a friend of Uchiha is really dangerous. Looking at the growth and changes of the two, did the war last for more than 10 years? Several decades. There is no definite statement at present, but it is generally believed that the Warring States period lasted at least 100 years. My God, 100 years. I understand why some people say that this is progress even though the ninja village system has experienced 3 wars since its implementation. My thoughts are different from yours. When I heard the time of 100 years, my first reaction was, these people are really fertile. They didn't die in such a long war. They didn't die in the war, but they were exterminated in peacetime. It's a kind of irony. Well, Uchiha Izuna was seriously injured. It seems that this is the turning point of Madara's personality change. The second Hokage is really strong. Although he doesn't know wood release and has main Gekyo, Uchiha Izuna is no match for him. No, flying thunder god slash, isn't this the fourth Hokage's ultimate move? Cold knowledge, flying thunder god and multiple shadow clones and other ninjutsu were invented by the second Hokage. Is the first Hokage really trying to provoke Uchiha Madara on purpose, directly indicating that the other party is not himself? There is nothing we can do about it. If we don't hurt our opponent, he won't give us a chance to communicate. Just like Naruto needs to defeat his enemy first if he wants to convince him, everything else is fine. But if we seriously hurt Uchiha Izuna, how could Uchiha Madara agree to the proposal of the first Hokage? Senju Hashirama sighed. If Izuna's death had been avoided, maybe. Don't be so naive, big brother. Uchiha Izuna is not like Madara. That guy is a thorough Uchiha. If he hadn't died, Madara would never have sat down and talked about cooperation with us, Senju Tobirama said unhappily. In order to end the war, we have also made great sacrifices. How can we let everything go to waste because of Uchiha Izuna's influence? I'm not regretting it, I'm just thinking. Never mind. There's no point in thinking about it now. The key is whether Madara can figure it out. Can Uchiha Madara figure it out? He can tell everyone clearly that he will never forgive Tobirama Senju who killed his brother. If there's a chance, he must stab the black stick formed by yin-yang release on the other party's forehead and whip the corpse to avenge his brother. After that, Madara changed. He got the eternal Mangekyou Sharingan, the voice of the first generation sounded, and new patterns appeared in Madara's eyes. My brother died because of the previous injuries. In order to protect Uchiha, he left me new power. Madara stood in front of Hashirama again. Hashirama was helpless about this. I should have sent you the documents of the armistice agreement. If you want to protect Uchiha, don't continue this war. However, at this time, Madara was only full of anger. He had almost lost all his love and had no interest in his ideals in his youth. Susanoo rose from the ground and roared, Hashirama, how long do you want to be childish? It is impossible to be open-minded and trust each other. Chapter 702. So he died after being seriously injured this time, Uchiha Izuna. It's the same as what Obito said when he was trying to trick Sasuke. Even though he was already at a disadvantage, Uchiha Madara still didn't want to stop the war. He had to make the Uchiha completely disappear from the ninja world. After all, he just got the eternal Mangekyou. Maybe he thinks he can surpass the first Hokage. He's the same as Itachi. His younger brother's weight is far above the clan. Alice, it feels really sad. We were friends, but it can only go this far. Hashirama coldly fought with Madara. One day later, Madara fell to the ground for the first time, which also meant that the struggle between Senju and Uchiha came to an end at this moment. After that, Hashirama stopped Tobirama from killing with an attitude that could not be refused, and rejected Madara's request for a quick death on the grounds of avoiding the riot of the tribesmen who followed Madara. He once again sincerely proposed, let's end this fight. Didn't we agree to build an ideal village? Can't we really just go through the motions together like before? At this time, Madara was no longer excited, and responded calmly, this is unrealistic. I am no longer the same as you. Now I don't even have a brother, and I don't have anything to protect. What's more, I don't believe in you. What do I have to do for you to believe us? After a moment of silence, Madara made an unusually demanding request. If you want to be open with me, either kill your brother or commit suicide on the spot, then, we will be equal. If you can do this, I will believe in your Senju clan. What a clean defeat. So the reason why Uchiha can always be evenly matched with Senju is because the first Hokage never took it seriously. It depends on when he reaches the peak of his strength. If he already knows the real Thousand Hands at this time, Uchiha Madara will be ashamed to death. If the second Hokage killed Uchiha Madara at this time, wouldn't there be so many troubles later? After all, from the current point of view, most of the conspiracies in the Fourth War can be linked to Uchiha Madara in the end. It feels like the first Hokage was that he made excuses to spare Uchiha Madara's life, saying that he was worried that Uchiha would inherit the hatred. With his strength, he could have directly exterminated the Uchiha clan in the Warring States period. If he had this kind of personality, he would not have led the overall situation of the ninja world to the ninja village later. It is impossible for people to believe the promises made by a person who is so powerful and ruthless that he is superior to other ninja clans. So the cooperation between Senju and Uchiha is the condition for the emergence of ninja villages. One cannot be less. Compare with the arrogant Uchiha Madara in the Fourth War, who would have thought that he would have such a miserable day. Tisk tisk, Uchiha Madara is so disheartened that he doesn't want to live anymore. He can even say such a condition. He keeps saying the first Hokage was naive. I think he was the naive one. Why should the weak demand equality with the strong? Perhaps this is what Uchiha Madara thinks about friendship. Regardless of strength or weakness, equality is achieved regardless of other external conditions. This can be regarded as a rebuttal to the first Hokage. There are so many ideas, but the methods are rougher than the other. In the end, we are ordinary ninjas who have nothing to do with us. Think about it, we are the most innocent. Hearing such a request, the Senju clan members who were watching immediately sneered and ridiculed. Tobirama was even more impatient to end this meaningless conversation in his opinion. Unexpectedly, Hashirama stopped the condemnation of the crowd with a calm face, stood up and untied his armor, and thanked Madara from the bottom of his heart. Thank you, Madara, you are indeed a man who values friendship. Madara gave me the power to choose, a choice that can solve this problem without killing my brother, because he also understands the feeling of being a brother. As the first generation narrated, Hashirama on the sky took out a kunai and pointed it at himself. After giving orders to Tobirama and the surrounding clansmen that they were absolutely not allowed to fight with Uchiha again, he stabbed the kunai into his chest without hesitation. Reluctant tears flowed from the corners of his eyes and dripped onto the ground, like the splashes of water caused by a stone rubbing against the surface of the water. A hand tightly grasped Hashirama's hand to stop his movement. Madara looked at Hashirama, and a crack opened in his closed heart. Enough, I see your true heart. Puff. The brain circuit of the first generation of Hokage is really good. He actually thinks that Madara's condition is a sign of loyalty. Isn't it so straightforward? Didn't he just commit suicide without even thinking about it? I had expected that Uchiha Madara would stop him, but I was a little surprised that the first Hokage made such a direct decision. He wouldn't still think that Uchiha Madara was the friend he knew in his youth. Wasn't he really afraid that after his death, Uchiha Madara would regret doing something to the Senju clan, probably because he had the same ideals and trusted like-minded people? Although it was still a bit risky, then I think the first Hokage missed it. Compared to his ideals, I feel that Uchiha Madara valued his younger brother more. As for the so-called peace plan of infinite Tsukuyomi that he pushed forward, it was just a manifestation of his madness. At least during this period, Uchiha Madara still retained a trace of purity in his ideals. It should be said that the first Hokage was lucky and made the right bet. Betting, you underestimated Hashirama too much? That guy made a sincere decision. Uchiha Madara looked gloomy, watching the progress of the sky curtain with cold eyes. It's a pity that his sincerity is limited to him alone. This kind of understanding gained by choice is ultimately just self-deception. It's like a dream. Uchiha and Senju joined forces. There won't be so many sacrifices, and there won't be so many children who died innocently. Then, we started the construction of the village, and then joined forces with the Fire Country to create a peaceful country where the village and the country coexist equally. In short, everything is like a dream. Accompanied by the narration of the first generation, the scenes flashed by, the Senju and Uchiha shaking hands and making peace, the village that continued to grow in the vast forest, just like when they were children, gathered in the eyes of the two men on the cliff. Chapter 703. Here, Hashirama conveyed the good news that more and more ninjas joined their village to Madara, and proposed the idea of Hokage, and hoped that Madara would become the head of the village to protect everyone in the village. Then the two talked about the name of the village. Madara proposed a simple name through the leaves in his hand, Konoha. After being complained by the lost Hashirama that there was no metaphor, Madara got angry about it, and this name was determined. The familiar way of getting along made the two regain their original friendship, but this harmonious atmosphere immediately disappeared after Tobirama appeared and met Madara. Hiss. The first Hokage actually wanted to make Uchiha Madara the Hokage at the beginning. What a joke. That shadow robe, no matter how you think about it, is not suitable for Uchiha Madara to wear. This can be regarded as the compensation of the first Hokage, but the more you do this, the more embarrassed Uchiha Madara will be. After all, that guy is a man with boundless pride. It's so tiring to get along like this. If Uchiha Izuna was still alive, everything would develop normally. Maybe Uchiha Madara would become the second Hokage. Uchiha Izuna doesn't have the same ideals as Uchiha Madara, so it's impossible for her to agree to cooperate with Senju. It's all if, for example, if they defeat Uchiha at the same time without endangering their lives, two brothers, and then repeat the process just now, maybe you can succeed. Wow. The name Konoha was actually proposed by Uchiha Madara. I didn't expect this. Didn't the first generation Hokage say that it has no meaning? It's just the surface meaning. It's not worth making a fuss about it being proposed by Uchiha Madara. Ha ha ha. I suddenly thought of Konoha's will of fire, the leaves burning forever, and now the first generation Hokage has come out in person to say that there is no meaning in it, it's just a name that Uchiha Madara picked up a broken leaf and came up with at random. I wonder what expression the third generation Hokage will show when he knows it. The third generation Hokage, who has basically retired at this time, chuckled and shook his head after seeing the discussion in the barrage. This is a bit unexpected, but the will of fire is a spirit passed down from generation to generation by ninjas. It was only in my generation that it was put into words. I can proudly tell everyone about it without any embarrassment. Haha. Even though he is an adult, Uchiha Madara will still be broken by the complaints of the first Hokage. He is simply a natural nemesis. From the first Hokage after the impure world reincarnation, it can be seen that this person's daily personality has not changed much, but Uchiha Madara is definitely not the case, especially when his strength is getting stronger and stronger. Tisk. I feel embarrassed for Uchiha Madara and Senju Tobirama. How do these two get along in daily life? After the meeting with the high-level officials of the Land of Fire, Tobirama learned his thoughts from Hashirama. Tobirama knew better than anyone that this was just his eldest brother's wishful thinking, because the current village is no longer the one-man show of the ninja clan in the past, and it is impossible to let Hashirama decide everything. Moreover, everyone knows that Hashirama was the one who helped establish the ninja village. In addition, with the unstable mood of the Uchiha, it was not Madara's turn to be the first Hokage. What a coincidence, these words were heard by Madara who was passing by. As expected, Hashirama, who was unwilling to disrupt the development of the system, became the first Hokage soon after with the recommendation of everyone. Then, one day after Hashirama became Hokage, Madara took him to the stone tablet that was passed down from generation to generation by the Uchiha, and explained to him some of the contents he had interpreted. The only god separated the yin and yang poles for stability, and the two opposites interacted with each other to obtain the myriad things in the world. This is a truth that applies to all things in the world. As long as the two opposite forces complement each other, they can obtain true happiness. But it can also be understood from another perspective. The relationship was not good to begin with, and I was targeted like this. I am Uchiha Madara, and I don't want to stay in Konoha. It can only be said that the second Hokage was not mature enough at that time. His rejection of Uchiha Madara was too deliberate, which was completely different from the arrangement of the Uchiha police force later. He unknowingly set a trap for others. The only god recorded in the stone tablet should be the Six Paths Sage. The two opposite forces refer to the power of the Senju and Uchiha. The Senra Tensei is the Samsara Eye. Obito mentioned these when he was bragging before. Isn't this the old path of pursuing power again, relying on absolute power to obtain everything? No. According to Uchiha Madara's later pursuit, what is really referred to here should be the infinite moon reading. Is that what you said to me at that time? If I could know this in advance, could I have stopped? Hashirama Senju showed a regretful expression, but when he saw Tobirama Senju showing an expression that wanted to scold him, he quickly changed his words. Okay, I'll just complain. I know I can't stop Madara. Hashirama was confused and had no idea what Madara was talking about, but he had a bad feeling in his heart, so he quickly made a promise, hoping that Madara would assist him as a brother, so that one day others would also see Madara's strengths. However, at this time, Madara had completely closed his heart. He not only pointed out that Tobirama would become the second-generation Hokage, but also directly predicted the decline of Uchiha. Therefore, Madara, who felt that he was not needed by everyone, decided to leave the village and take another path. It is because we are honest with each other that I can see everything clearly. The so-called cooperation is also a struggle in secret. Ignoring Hashirama's obstruction, Madara turned around and prepared to leave. We have different understandings of reality, Hashirama. Forget about a set of compromise. It is safer to treat everything in this world as a game. You are the only one who can match me. On the road to my true dream, I will enjoy fighting with you. Madara turned his head and showed a sinister smile. The first-generation Hokage still doesn't know Uchiha Madara well enough. How could this guy bow his head for the recognition of some irrelevant people? Besides, is the Hokage really attractive to him? Although his inner thoughts have begun to change, Uchiha Madara does see it very clearly. He knows that Uchiha will decline in Konoha sooner or later. He is very foresighted. Chapter 704. I feel like Uchiha Madara is just a broken jar, because no one needs him anymore, so he doesn't care. It's mainly because he thinks he has found another correct path. So he won't continue to compromise? On the surface, the Uchiha clan abandoned him, but in fact, it was the Uchiha clan that untied the shackles on Uchiha Madara, allowing him to act without scruples for his goals. Tisk, can you take a mirror and let Uchiha Madara look at himself to see which peace seeker would have such a terrifying smile on his face? I wonder if the Uchiha clan is aware of this state that they become stronger as they degenerate. Of course they don't know, they even think they are right. Which is why they do so many outrageous things without hesitation. Feeling the evil thoughts in him, Hashirama's face changed slightly, and he asked anxiously, what is the real dream? Isn't everything we expect in this village? You can't see it. There is a road ahead, leading to the real dream. Madara's meaningless response made Hashirama restrain his expression and sincerely asked, then please tell me that dream. If it is the continuation of the dream of this village, I need you to guide everyone, whether as a leader or a friend. There is no continuation, and you will never achieve it. It's useless to chase after me. You should understand that I won't let anyone stand behind me. After saying this, Madara left the village. It should have been a place where the two of them realized their dreams together. In the village that Madara now longed for, there was no Madara. Along with the voice of the first generation, Hashirama's lonely figure sitting on the shadow rock appeared. That being said, the ninja village system jointly created by Uchiha and Senju has been highly praised by the world and has been imitated by many people. Madara and my dream has come true. Children no longer need to fight and can enjoy the fun of learning and playing until they grow up. However, Madara attacked Konoha as if he wanted to destroy his former dream. Tisk, why do you like to say such vague things to make others guess? Obviously, many things can be solved by good communication, such as the previous war and the current one. Think too much? If we make it clear here, Uchiha Madara will never leave Konoha. The key question is why he believes in the plan of infinite Tsukuyomi so much? Even if it is the record on the ancestral stele, even if the stele is something left by the Six-Path Sage, but even the Six-Path Sage himself has not done it, why is Uchiha Madara so confident that he can do it? There are many possibilities. Maybe this plan was thought up by the Six-Path Sage in his later years, or maybe the first person to record this stele was actually an ancestor of the Uchiha. After all, it is an ancestral thing. Who can guarantee that there will be no changes in the middle, such as the loss of some records? In the final analysis, the plan of infinite Tsukuyomi is very strange when put together with the Six-Path Sage. It is really hard to imagine such a plan. It will come from the hands of the Six-Path Sage. I feel like laughing when I hear Uchiha Madara say seriously that he won't let anyone stand behind him. He's making such a joke in such a serious occasion. He must be trying to deceive the first Hokage so that he can successfully leave Konoha. As expected of Uchiha Madara, his tactical level is high. Funny, the first Hokage probably never thought that peace was entirely dependent on him alone. I remember that the First Ninja World War seemed to have broken out not long after his death. Again, we can't expect our ancestors to do everything for us. At least he has taken the first step. The sky screen continues to recall the battle at the beginning. Madara's powerful Susanoo and Hashirama's true Thousand Hands rushed towards each other. Dozens of tailed beast balls with chakra blades collided with the Buddhist Thousand Arms. In the end, the Thousand Arms were destroyed and Susanoo was mostly shattered, ending this devastating battle. Before Madara could adjust, Hashirama, who recovered faster, seized the opportunity and controlled a giant Buddha to reach out and grab the Nine Tails. Then the wooden man on the giant Buddha's head jumped down and pressed the Nine Tails' head with a move of Kuo Naruto, forcing it to fall asleep and escape Madara's control. After that, the two of them resumed the close combat at the beginning. Even so, the ground still cracked and the river water flowed back. Under the pouring rain, in a newly formed canyon, the two people were covered in wounds and panting, accumulating their little strength for the final blow. Madara attacked first, and Hashirama rushed over on the water. The two waved their weapons and passed each other. In the end, Madara, who had a better eye, seized the opportunity and Hashirama fell. Oh, it's the fight from before. The destructive power of Uchiha Madara and the Nine Tails is also amazing. It's evenly matched with the first generation Hokage's move. This is indeed unexpected, but the strength of the first generation Hokage is scary enough. Don't forget that the opponent is Uchiha Madara and the strongest tailed beast Nine Tails, and he can still have a slight advantage. It's too early to draw a conclusion. It's not a slight advantage, but a level difference in strength. The Nine Tails was subdued so easily. Puff. I suddenly remembered the previous issue of Shyamamu. Did the Nine-Tails have a memory before reconciling with Naruto? I remember that the first generation Hokage said in the memory, "Nine-Tails, your power is too strong, I can't let you go," etc. Combined with the current, I felt very funny when I saw the scene. Damn, that big hand stretched out. The nine-tailed fox is not much stronger than a puppy. You are so miserable. You were subdued by the first generation uncle in an instant. Naruto sighed deeply for the nine-tailed fox's experience, and the nine-tailed fox immediately exploded. Shut up. That guy is more like a beast than our tailed beasts. Don't compare him with normal humans. Huh? After Uchiha Madara released the control of the nine-tailed fox, the two fought evenly. The first generation Hokage is not letting him win again, right? It seems that the first generation Hokage seems to be more seriously injured than Uchiha Madara. Isn't it said that he can recover automatically without even using hand seals? Huh? Why is it the first generation Hokage who fell down? This shouldn't be the performance of letting him win, right? Chapter 705. It's probably because the Sharingan has an advantage in physical skills. Without using ninjutsu, the advantage of the first Hokage's chakra can't be brought into play, so it's not surprising that this situation has occurred. Now I'm the one standing, which is exactly the opposite of that time. Looking at Hashirama, who was half kneeling on the water with blood on the corner of his mouth, Madara looked complacent. Hashirama gritted his teeth and supported his body. The dream has just begun. I want to protect it well and will never let you. The first time he saw Hashirama in such a miserable state, Madara, who felt that he had won, couldn't help but tease, "You look quite depressed, Hashirama. Aren't you going to give up on yourself this time?" Hashirama didn't respond, but recalled the time when they were young, until the day when their dream came true. Finally, Hashirama made up his mind and stabbed him in the chest with a knife behind Madara. Madara looked at the long sword in front of him in disbelief, and looked at Hashirama, who had turned into a piece of wood on the river surface, and murmured, "Wood release, clone. I was actually attacked from behind. I want to protect protect my village. No matter what happens, I firmly believe that protecting the village means protecting the people, protecting the ninjas and the children." As he said this, Hashirama showed a look of determination and said in a cold tone, "Even if it is my friend, my brother, or even my child, as long as they dare to be enemies with the village, I will never let them go." The long sword was pulled out of his body, and Madara slowly fell down, saying in a mocking tone, "You have changed, Hashirama. This is putting the cart before the horse. Sooner or later, it will become the darkness of the village." With this, the battle between the first Hokage and Uchiha Madara came to an end. The first Hokage's expression doesn't look like he's letting the opponent win. Tisk, look at how proud Uchiha Madara is. He just won once. Sure enough, he let the opponent win. He didn't make up his mind to kill Madara before. So he said before he used the true thousand hands that he didn't want to kill Madara. Wow. The first Hokage actually showed such a gloomy expression. It's a bit like Uchiha Madara's demonic disorder. No, just like Uchiha Madara said, isn't this putting the cart before the horse? The original intention of the first Hokage to establish the village was to protect the children, but now the village has become more important. Listen carefully before we discuss it. The premise is that he is the enemy of the village, so that he will attack his friends, brothers and children. It feels similar. If things continue like this, he will sacrifice his friends, brothers and children to protect the village. Isn't that why people come to Konoha? Danzo is the epitome of it. To be honest, Uchiha Madara has a far-sighted vision. He foresaw the darkness of Konoha's future in an instant. So what? Even if there are flaws, it is better than his infinite moon reading. Senju Hashirama let out a lonely breath. After confirming that Uchiha Madara was not wrong, he really felt a little regretful at this time. I really don't have the ability to let the village walk on the right path. I am far worse than Madara in this aspect. Don't belittle yourself, big brother. No one will doubt your contribution. Besides, don't think too highly of Madara. He is just good at seeing the bad side. Even if he is really allowed to lead the village, the situation may not be much better. Senju Tobirama took the initiative to comfort him, but it would be a lie to say that he really had no objection to the first generation's governing philosophy. Let's talk about unifying the entire ninja world under one regime. If the first generation had not strongly opposed it at that time, perhaps Senju Tobirama would have taken the initiative to promote this plan. In this regard, Senju Tobirama's ideas were more consistent with that of Uchiha Madara, who he didn't like. However, at that time, he couldn't go against his elder brother's ideas and stand on the opponent's team, so the matter naturally ended. Although I don't know how Madara is resurrected now, I did kill my friend for the village. The first generation said in conclusion, sitting cross-legged in front of Sasuke. Yes, the so-called village. At the beginning, Madara and I hoped that the village would be a place that connects the various families, a hub that establishes order from chaos and maintains it, a place that can protect children, avoid unnecessary disputes, and finally achieve peace. After a pause, the first generation continued, however, later it still fostered the kind of darkness that your brother Itachi carried. What Madara said may be correct. Maybe he had expected this situation to happen. What led to this was the ninja who was in charge of the situation, and I was also the ninja who let it develop. Then, I realized that the so-called ninja is someone who endures humiliation to achieve a goal, but different goals will create different ninjas, just like Madara and me. What exactly is the first generation Hokage talking about? Can anyone understand it? No, this is plain and simple, it doesn't make sense. It's just some very ordinary understanding of the village and ninjas. These are not the main points. The main point is what Sasuke learned from his story. After all, he is the one who makes the decision now. In the final analysis, it is to figure out why Itachi is so loyal to Konoha, to see if you can understand his behavior, and use it to decide how to deal with Konoha. The first generation Hokage's understanding of ninjas is similar to Jiraiya's. Is this what great minds think alike? A so-called ninja is someone who endures humiliation and bears heavy burdens in order to achieve his goal. Sasuke muttered the answer with a complicated look in his eyes. For me, this is the original intention of establishing the ninja village, but now it seems that Madara has found a different path. The first generation looked at Orochimaru and asked, just now, this Orochimaru said that Madara has been resurrected and intends to destroy all the ninjas in the world. How exactly is he going to do it? He will use the infinite moon reading to make everyone fall into a huge illusion and control everything according to his will. He will turn my brother, his younger brother, and everything you once wanted to protect into nothingness. Sasuke explained the situation to several Hokage, while thinking about the answer given by the first generation. Combined with his previous understanding, he had a deeper understanding of Itachi, and felt ironic that the person who inherited the will of the first generation was Uchiha. Chapter 706. At this time, the second and third Hokage used Uchiha Kagami and Uchiha Shiso as examples, indicating that Itachi was not the only one who inherited the will of fire. The second Hokage even said that he was wary of those who were dangerous to the village. Regardless of whether this person was Uchiha or not, everything was to protect the village and make it stronger. Uchiha Kagami, who is this? It stands to reason that the second Hokage's disciple should not be unknown. A ninja of the same period as the third Hokage, but because he died very early, not many people know about him. The third Hokage is really shameless. He even had the nerve to mention Uchiha Shiso, saying that he inherited the will of fire, but he allowed Danzo to persecute him and dig out his eyes. The third Hokage may not know. From Itachi's memories, we can see that although Danzo obeyed orders on the surface, he did a lot of small tricks in secret. It can only be said that Danzo wanted to learn from the second Hokage to be wary of Uchiha, but he learned a weird thing, and only left there is nothing else to do but persecute. His purpose is different from that of the second Hokage. Although he keeps saying that he is doing it for the good of Konoha, you can see what he has done. Apart from attracting hatred to Konoha, he is completely willing to do anything to become the Hokage. Compared to the righteous second Hokage, the third Hokage felt ashamed of what he had done. He said frankly that it was because of his incompetence that Danzo had to bear the darkness of the village, which led to so many tragedies later. The fourth Hokage, who could not bear it, also took over part of the responsibility and even used his own early death as an excuse, in order to transfer Sasuke's resentment towards the village to them as much as possible. Orochimaru naturally saw this, and in order to prevent them from continuing to influence Sasuke's judgment, he immediately interrupted, "Okay, Sasuke, what is your decision? Destroy the village, or..." Closing his eyes, countless memories with Itachi flooded into Sasuke's mind, and finally converged into such an answer: "I want to go to the battlefield. I can't let this village, led Itachi, disappear in vain." Hearing this, Senju Hashirama smiled, immediately stood up and asked Senju Tobirama to prepare the Flying Thunder God technique. As for the restraints on the few people, when Sasuke had made a decision, Orochimaru naturally lifted them unconditionally. Is the third Hokage clear about himself? What's the use? He knows everything but does nothing. What's the difference between such a Hokage and a decoration? Let me tell you a little gossip. There were rumors in the black market in the past that Danzo had assassinated the third Hokage, but the conspiracy was finally discovered by the third Hokage. Assassination. If such a thing really happened, why don't you deal with Danzo quickly and keep him for the new year? After Sarutobi Hiruzen got old, his ambitions were basically gone. Just look at what happened in Konoha after he came back to power. They were all a kind of muddy attitude to avoid conflict. The Hyuga and Uchiha were like this. Oh, Danzo's assassination of him also happened during this period. The fourth Hokage is really amazing. He took the initiative to take on the responsibility. It's just a rhetoric to tilt Sasuke's heart. Okay, we can finally go to the battlefield. It's not easy. We ran all the way to Konoha just to confirm what we already know. In the end, the admiration for your brother overwhelmed the hatred. Uchiha Itachi. Although this guy's brain circuit is really weird, but he is the real savior. Everyone left the basement. While the Hokage were reminiscing about the village, Sujetsu, who didn't want to go to the battlefield, turned around and fled. Unexpectedly, a figure in pajamas suddenly jumped out and kicked him away. It turned out to be Karin, who didn't know how to escape from Konoha's guard. I saw Karin riding on Sujetsu, beating him up to vent her anger, and cursing at Sasuke, who was not far away. However, she had vowed that she would never forgive Sasuke, but after hearing Sasuke's slight apology, she softened immediately. Then Karin rushed over with a flushed face, complaining to Orochimaru while hugging Sasuke and rubbing against him. Although he felt extremely awkward and uncomfortable, Sasuke did not dare to move at all out of compensation. The third generation ignored the farce of several people, approached Orochimaru and asked vigilantly, Orochimaru, why do you want to help Sasuke? Did you plan to destroy the village before? Orochimaru glanced at him and replied calmly, during the time in Kabuto's body, I figured it out. He imitated my life. I have tried many ways to survive and accumulated countless abilities, but I still failed. Now, I am just interested in Sasuke's completely different way of survival. Because he is different from Kabuto and did not imitate me. Where did Karin come from? Why is she still wearing pajamas? Before, Sakura went to assassinate Sasuke, but she was brought back to Konoha in the end. Did she need to be detained? Compared to Sakura, this is a real love brain. Sasuke surrendered directly with a light apology. What he suffered before was nothing. This nymphomaniac, how did he become the kind of person who can bless Sakura in the future? Look at Sasuke's horrified expression. After the blackening was lifted, he didn't even dare to refuse, right? Will he regret not killing Karin at that time? Sakura was full of black lines. This guy is too shameless. I am too embarrassed to see anyone. Karin covered her face and huddled up, but Sujetsu came over to tease her without knowing whether to live or die, and the next second she was beaten into a puddle of water all over the floor. Orochimaru's reason is unexpectedly simple. If we ignore his previous actions to destroy Konoha, his motives are actually similar. What about becoming the wind that turns the windmill? It is not only very simple, but also sounds quite literary. In Kabuto's body? Did Orochimaru survive by relying on the cells transplanted into his body by Kabuto? It's not surprising. Before, everyone thought that when Sasuke swallowed Orochimaru, Orochimaru survived from Sasuke's body. Now Kabuto has also absorbed Orochimaru's body, so what's the problem with surviving from Kabuto's body? This incident tells us that some things cannot be eaten randomly. Chapter 707. Observe Sasuke's lifestyle? If I hadn't died once, it would be difficult for me to have such an idea. Orochimaru analyzed his own mentality, and Kabuto pushed his glasses aside and expressed his own opinion. More importantly, Sasuke stepped on Lord Orochimaru and me to embark on his own path, so Lord Orochimaru would have that kind of patience with him. Sasuke here finally got rid of Karin's entanglement, and the four Hokage were ready. The first generation excitedly shouted to everyone, Hokage, stand on these rock statues that protect Konoha and imprint this village in your mind. After the words fell, the second and fourth generations performed the Flying Thunder God technique at the same time, and the four Hokage fell from the sky to their respective shadow rocks. Namikaze Minato, finally I can see my son. Naruto, as a father, I have never given you anything, so this time I will give you a big gift. Sarutobi Hiruzen, come on, it's been a long time since we last saw each other in war, we must cheer up. Senju Tobirama, Madara, I must finish you off this time. Senju Hashirama, although it's inappropriate, I still feel a little excited to see my old friend. Wait for me, Madara. There will be struggles in every era, but this war is the last. Let's go. The first Hokage is quite ceremonial. Just tell me if this scene looks very exciting. Confidence surged all of a sudden. Tisk. It's okay if our village's cage comes. Why is the limelight stolen by Konoha's? Come on, the other three are okay, but the first Hokage is really an outsider. It's okay if you didn't know his ability before, but now that you have seen it, you should not say these funny words. I am the only one curious, what gift can the fourth Hokage, a dead man, give Naruto? Naruto took a deep breath and looked at the sky curtain with extraordinary excitement. Finally, I can fight side by side with my father. Jiraiya was also looking forward to it, but after hearing Naruto's words, he couldn't help but remind him, didn't we fight side by side in the previous Laolan mission? Why are you still so excited? How can it be the same? At that time, neither I nor the me on the sky curtain knew my father's identity, so the next moment is the first time for me and my father to fight side by side. Naruto's right fist hit his left palm heavily, wishing he could rush into the sky curtain immediately to realize this dream. At the same time, on the battlefield, Uchiha Madara and Obito, including the 10 tails that had been released from control, attacked the coalition forces at the same time. The raging flames and the 10 tails giant hand mercilessly hit the coalition forces camp. The ground instantly collapsed. The coalition ninjas, who had no time to dodge, under the protection of the chakra clothes given by Naruto, took on this wave of attack safely. Then, under his active control, he stretched out his tail to hit Uchiha Madara and Obito's subsequent giant Kyuubi and Yasakuni no Magatama. Sakura, who was also protected, saw everything and couldn't help but feel worried. Naruto's chakra has been protecting everyone. If this continues, Naruto, can you hold on? Sure enough, Naruto had just received chakra from the Nine Tails, and his breathing was already a little rapid. Obito naturally would not miss this opportunity. He used Kamui to sneak attack from behind Naruto. After being dodged, he launched a verbal offensive again. Naruto, you are just fighting a defensive battle to protect everyone. What's the point of this situation? The Nine Tails couldn't help but remind Naruto not to mess around. In response, Naruto looked at Obito and gave this answer, you must not understand when you are alone. I am really happy to have everyone around me. Just this point alone will make power emerge continuously. Back to the battlefield, it seems that the time here and Konoha are much shorter than before. It's synchronous, not continuous. Is this the solution Naruto came up with after Neji's sacrifice? Protect all the members of the coalition alone. Well, although it's great to be protected like this, I have the same idea as Sakura. Can Naruto hold on, even with the support of the Nine Tails? Obviously not. Seeing Naruto panting like that, even the Nine Tails doesn't think he can do it. But Naruto himself said that with everyone around him, he can continuously generate power. This is just a retort to Obito's words. How can such a superstitious thing happen? But the problem is, hasn't Naruto had enough superstitious things? Okay, don't argue here whether Naruto can do it or not. If you don't want his efforts to go to waste, why don't you try harder? No matter how much you achieve, at least don't fall behind. To be honest, Naruto's chakra suit is really strong. He didn't even need to dodge the opponent's strong fire escape. He just took it. While Naruto was shouting, he and many ninjas attacked Obito from all sides. With the power of Kamui, Obito easily broke away from the crowd, stood on a high place and continued, since you claim that the pain of your companion's death is your bond, why do you force yourself to protect your companions? Stop talking nonsense. Your problem really annoys me. Bastard. Naruto glared at Obito, raised his hand to his heart, and said firmly, I have said it all, as long as it is for my companions, I will endure no matter how painful it is. I don't want to abandon such a bond. Maybe this is just my wishful thinking, but if there are no companions here, that will be my greatest pain. I'm done. Obito remained silent, letting Kakashi understand that he wanted to confirm something through Naruto. Compared with the mental confrontation here, Uchiha Madara, who sensed the chakra of Senju Hashirama, was now completely immersed in the excitement and joy of the upcoming appearance of his nemesis. Obito's Kamui is still as difficult as ever. Without restraint, he can only use the stupid method of continuous attack to deal with it. Obito has begun to misinterpret Naruto's words. Do you really want him to change his camp? Without support, there is no way to stick to your choice. If that's the case, turn back. If you even doubt yourself, there is no need to continue. Otherwise, even if you succeed, you can't make up for the emptiness in your heart. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 708. Fuck you, Uchiha Madara, what are you doing? Are you so excited about the appearance of the first Hokage? He is here to hinder you. After all, he is the man who talks about Senju Hashirama every other sentence. For Uchiha Madara, fighting is as important as peace, especially when he has never defeated the first Hokage. The last sentence is the key. At the same time, the Ten Tails went berserk without any warning. Amidst the deafening howls, the Ten Tails' limbs swelled rapidly. This sudden change made the Nine Tails change its face instantly. Naruto, it's bad. The Ten Tails is going to use the Heaven Change and Earth Change. Before the Nine Tails could explain in detail, the sky was suddenly covered with dark clouds, lightning and thunder, and hurricanes and tornadoes were generated at a speed visible to the naked eye. In this situation, Obito suppressed his thoughts and prepared to perform the Jinchuriki ceremony. Uchiha Madara also looked forward to using Susanoo to protect himself. In response to this, the coalition forces would naturally not sit still and wait for death. Kakashi once again aimed his main Gekyo Sharingan at the Ten Tails, but before his Kamui could be activated, Obito instantly appeared in front of him and grabbed his shoulder. It seems that you are waiting for this opportunity, but so am I, Kakashi. In Naruto's slightly changed eyes, Kakashi entrusted the battlefield here to Naruto, and then disappeared with Obito and entered the Kamui space together. And at the same time when the two disappeared, the Ten Tails' earth shaking was activated, and thunder tornadoes, floods and earthquakes, and irresistible shock waves instantly covered the entire battlefield, and the overwhelming destruction vividly depicted a scene of the end of the world. Damn. Is the Ten Tails going to change again? No, it seems like it's going to perform some kind of move. Tisk, what a pity, Kakashi's Kamui was interrupted again. After all, the original owner is here, and he must be vigilant of his movements at all times. Even if Kakashi really succeeds in performing Kamui, he may not be able to do anything to the Ten Tails. Although space-time ninjutsu is very rare and powerful, the magnitude of the two seems a bit far apart. Well, at least Kakashi temporarily held back an enemy, so that Obito wouldn't jump up and down on the battlefield. After all, his hollowing is really disgusting. Here it comes, this is a world of change. Fuck. It's like the end of the world. It's powerful, but more importantly, it's too wide. The entire battlefield is under attack. If Naruto hadn't protected them, the coalition would have collapsed completely. When Momoshiki attacked Konoha before, the scene of the attack was a bit similar to what's happening now. It's just that the attack type looks similar, but the power and range are too different. Under such a natural disaster, the terrain of the entire battlefield has changed dramatically. In the smoke and dust, Uchiha Madara thought that the coalition would suffer heavy casualties. Unexpectedly, although they were lying on the ground, no one died. Only Naruto was seriously injured and couldn't even maintain the Kurama mode. This move is useless. Panting, Naruto covered his right arm and pretended to be disdainful. At this time, the Ten Tails also focused its eyes on this tiny person for the first time. Sensing the tailed beast chakra on him, the Ten Tails put its hands together and swelled again with a howl. At this time, Naruto finally couldn't hold on and half knelt on the ground, and the chakra clothes on all the coalition forces disappeared. Seeing this scene, Uchiha Madara was not surprised, although it's just showing off. It's not bad to be able to do this. You've had enough fun, isn't it time to leave? But before he finished speaking, a group of coalition ninjas, led by Hinata, shouted and blocked in front of Naruto. Sakura also came behind Naruto and pressed his shoulders to treat him. You recover slowly here. Although I had expected it a long time ago, I actually survived this attack. Naruto is awesome. Don't be too happy too soon, look at the price Naruto paid for this. It's injured, and the Nine Tails mode can't be maintained. It has put all its strength into protecting the coalition forces. Well, it doesn't even have the power to strengthen the coalition forces. Now it can only rely on the Hokage coming from behind. Is the Ten Tails, eyeing the tailed beast chakra on Naruto. It turns out that it has never taken Naruto seriously before. Although it may not be useful, it is still exciting to see the coalition forces standing in front of Naruto. At the same time, with Obito, Kakashi arrived at the Kamui space, and the moment he landed, he used Reikiri to rush in front of Obito, but he stopped at the last moment and stopped in front of Obito. HMPH, you are hesitating. You had a chance to kill me before, but you still acted softly. Obito sneered at Kakashi in front of him. I didn't expect you to show mercy to the enemy in the war. Is it because of guilt? You feel guilty for not protecting Rin and not keeping your promise to me? You want me to change my ways? Obito's heart-wrenching questions made Kakashi look sad. Obito, stop it. Your dream was to become a Hokage, and Naruto is the same now. He said what you said before. Unconsciously, you overlapped your past self with the current Naruto, and subconsciously regarded Naruto's words as the words of your past self, because you hoped to be denied by your past self, right? You can't not understand Naruto's feelings. You can still turn back and become your past self again. Ho ha ho ha. It is precisely because I understand Naruto's inner thoughts that I want to understand everything about him, and then completely deny all of this. Obito stared into Kakashi's eyes without hesitation, and I'll say it again, the fact that you feel guilty about me is ridiculous in itself. If you think that the reason I started the war is only because of Lin and you, then you are wrong. No way, Kakashi is here again? Even in this situation, you still want to persuade Obito to turn back. Can you knock him down first before doing this? Otherwise I always feel that Obito will cause some trouble. It seems that as long as Kakashi wants, he can easily knock down Obito. Now he is not the last one in his youth. No matter who wins or loses in the end, it is a foregone conclusion that Kakashi will let him go. Obito himself said this. Kakashi really holds back everywhere. Chapter 709. Oh. Obito actually said that the reason for starting the war was not because of Rin? That's not right. He looked desperate after Rin's death. No matter how you look at it, it must be because of Rin that this war started. Let's see what he's going to say. As he said that, Obito's Sharingan glared fiercely, and then he ignored the Reikiri in front of him, and stood up and let Kakashi's hand knife pierce his chest. I know everything. It was Rin who rushed towards your Reikiri, and she chose to die. In a trance, Kakashi seemed to see Rin who was killed by him, and Obito also told him what he knew one by one. Rin, who was captured by Kurigakure, became the Three Tails Jinchuuriki. After Lin was rescued by Kakashi, the Kurigakure Anbu pretended to chase her, all just to let Lin bring the Three Tails back to Konoha, and finally drove the Three Tails to run wild and attack Konoha. It was in this context that Lin chose to die in Kakashi's hands to protect Konoha. No matter what you say to me, you who didn't protect Lin are just a fake to me. To me, Lin should not die, so the dead Lin is just a fake. Lin is the real Lin only when she is alive. Obito took a few steps back and let Kakashi's hand knife be pulled out of his chest. The root of all these tragedies is the ninja system, the village and the ninjas. What really makes me despair is this world itself. I despair of this fake world. Kakashi pressed his heart and responded firmly. Naruto said not long ago that the most painful thing is to have no companions in your heart. I conveyed your words to him exactly as you said at that time. You must have resonated with Naruto in the past, and now I still believe. Let me believe. No. If you want to refute, just refute. Why are you trying to hit Reikiri with your body? Can't you see? He wants Kakashi to remember the moment he killed Rin. He's kidding about his life just for this? Does he know that a normal person will die if their heart is pierced? Obito is not a normal person. He can survive being hit by a huge rock. Now he still has Hashirama's cells. Maybe the heart is not a vital part for him. No. What are you all discussing? The key point now is that Rin died at Kakashi's hands on her own initiative. There's nothing to discuss about this. Didn't Obito make it clear that Rin wanted to prevent the Three Tails in her body from spreading in Konoha? Run away, so he chose death. If that's the case, what reason does Obito have to blame Kakashi? What is Obito talking about? Sure enough, Uchiha are all psychopaths. It's understandable that Obito can't forgive Kakashi because he did not abide by the agreement, but he actually said that the dead Rin is not the real Rin. Is this the way a normal person should think? I don't know whether he likes Rin or not. It's too much to think like this. The dead Rin is not the real Rin, so is the Rin in the dream the real Rin? Is there any difference between the two? No. I can't think straight at all. My scalp is itchy. I told you, don't trying to understand Uchiha with normal people's thinking. After going around in circles, it can be linked to the world, and the source is just because of the death of a little girl. I feel that Obito's words are nice. What a desperate world. In the final analysis, he just can't accept Rin's death, so he wants to find comfort in his dreams. Isn't this just escaping from reality? This weak mentality is worse than Naruto before he grew up. The most fucked up thing is that he escapes by himself, and he insists that everyone escape with him, and finally calls it leading everyone out of the desperate reality. Just because of Rin's death, all the memories of the past are meaningless. Obito. Kakashi looked lost. During this period of time, taking advantage of the gaps between missions, Kakashi also searched for Obito's traces everywhere like Black Zetsu. I thought that after more than a year of self-adjustment, I could face the fact that Obito was still alive and had become Konoha's enemy, but when I heard his accusation against myself, Kakashi couldn't help but feel lost. Look carefully. There is nothing in my heart. Now I can't even feel pain. Obito shouted loudly, showing the hole in his chest, and then slowed down his tone. You don't have to feel guilty, Kakashi. This hole was torn open by this hellish world. In the past, I was in my heart there is nothing but pain. What's the point? So I gave up everything. Aren't you the same, tortured by pain, in front of Rin's grave, in front of my grave? Obito used illusion to create a teenage Rin and himself in front of Kakashi, and then said, Kakashi, enough. You don't have to continue to suffer. Rin is here, and I and your ideal is here. Everything you desire will be realized in this illusion world, and the hole in your heart will soon be filled. Kakashi, who couldn't listen anymore, cut off the two illusions without hesitation, and said in a strong tone, Rin is gone, but you are still alive. Do you really think this method, this thing can fill the hole in your heart? Don't erase the memories of Rin before she died. Those are the memories left by Rin protecting the village with her life. No matter how many delusions you use, the hole in your heart can never be filled. No way, it's really nothing with a pierced heart, and you can even persuade Kakashi with full energy. The two people are talking about different things, and they are not on the same page. One persuades the other to escape from reality, and the other persuades the other to return to the original state. Please, if you can really be persuaded, you don't have to wait until now. Let's start fighting quickly. Kakashi just feels guilty about Obito, and it is basically impossible for him to agree with the other party's plan, but Obito may not be unable to return to the original state. Although he said that he wanted to deny everything about Naruto, if he didn't really care, why would he bother? At this time, on the battlefield outside, the Ten Tails opened its mouth to the limit, and spit out a huge flower bud from its throat and then unfolded. The huge flesh flower formed a dark muzzle, and a huge tailed beast ball comparable to the size of the Ten Tails quickly condensed in front of the muzzle. Chapter 710. I thought it was the Ten Tails that had transformed again, but with the Eight Tails reminder, Killer Bee realized that this was the Ten Tails attack form, but it was only one step away from its final form, so before Naruto recovered, the two of them had to fight for a chance for the coalition. The Ten Tails muzzle was aimed at Naruto, and Uchiha Madara knew at a glance that it was the tailed beast chakra in Naruto's body that attracted the Ten Tails' attention. Compared to the leisurely Uchiha Madara, the coalition forces that were targeted by the tailed beast ball all showed a look of horror under the threat of death that seemed to be real. Hey. What is the Ten Tails doing again? This is too disgusting. Damn, compared to the Ten Tails, the other tailed beasts are so cute. Fortunately it didn't continue to transform. What the hell? There is actually an attack form, which means the power of the next move will be stronger than before. Even if we don't know what the attack form is, compared to the previous tailed beast ball, with the scale of this tailed beast ball, you can tell without thinking that the power must be very large. What should we do next? Let the Yamanaka clan continue to use the heart-turning technique to control the Ten Tails to change the attack direction? The Iwagakure uses a stone to knock the Ten Tails away? The Nara clan uses shadows to bind the Ten Tails? No way. We could only perform these operations with Naruto's enhancement. Besides, the Ten Tails was controlled indirectly by Obito at that time. It is impossible for it to work on the Ten Tails. It seems that we can only rely on those Hokage to come to the rescue. How far is Konoha from the battlefield? Although we don't know the exact location, since the second and fourth Hokage can use the Flying Thunder God technique, they should be able to arrive soon, although no one wanted to give up. Without Naruto's support, facing the Ten Tails moves, Everyone had no idea how to deal with it. In this situation, Sakura gritted her teeth and showed a determined look without any confusion. At this point, how can we waver? Naruto has done his best, so we should also do our best to do what we can. Anyway, we are all going to die, so instead of waiting to die, we might as well do our best and die in our own way. Let's not talk about the coalition forces that mustered up their courage for this. Sakura's words made Shikamaru put aside all the pressure. Through Ino's mental connection, he asked Wang Tu to teach everyone on the battlefield the simplest earth escape technique, and prepare to use continuous simple shields and the rock ninja's hard shields, plus Killer Bee's continuous tailed beast ball, to block the attack and raise the attack trajectory to deal with the next attack. After the instructions, Ino tried her best to convey Shikamaru's arrangement to everyone on the battlefield. The next second, everyone formed the same hand seal, and with countless thin earth walls rising from the ground, the 10-tailed beast ball suddenly fired. Hiss. Sakura can actually say such heroic words. After all, she is praised by Chiyo as a rare female ninja with masculinity. A 16-year-old girl, whose strength is not that strong, is so aware, much better than those adults around her who say discouraging words. Once again, it proves that as long as Sakura is not influenced by Sasuke, she is quite reliable. Sakura scratched her cheek embarrassedly. You are so exaggerated. Sasuke hugged his hands in front of his chest, and he felt a little unhappy at the same time. Why do you bring me up? Naruto shouted excitedly. Sakura is so handsome, worthy of being mine. Stop. Jiraiya interrupted Naruto's speech suddenly. As a pure love war god who writes pornographic books, he can't stand this kind of messing around with CP relationships. Jiraiya pressed Naruto's shoulder and said seriously, boy, don't think about your relationship when you grow up for now. You have to think about what you think about Sakura, Hinata, or other shrine maidens, princesses, or village girls. Anyway, I have only one request for you, you must be single-minded. Unexpectedly, Naruto suddenly switched to pure love mode at this time, pretending to be stupid and answering, what are you talking about, lecherous sage? Sakura is of course my good friend and good partner. As for other things, I'm only 15 years old this year, I don't understand much. As he said, Naruto held the back of his head and walked in front of Jiraiya, leaving Jiraiya standing there dumbfounded. This kid, pretending to be confused when he knows the truth. Shikamaru finally remembered his command work. Winning by quantity? It's quite standard. It's the only way. Could this wave of attacks be stopped by the efforts of the coalition forces? Perhaps, but the role of the coalition forces will probably stop here. After that, it will be the occasion for top ninjas, especially when Uchiha Madara and Obito are both planning to become the 10 Tails Jinchuriki. It's expected. Just like what Sakura said, just do your best. At least you can't regret it. In the Kamui space, Obito's attitude remained the same. What's wrong with the illusion world? Reality is too cruel. It will only make the void in your heart continue to expand. Sometimes it will make people unhappy, and sometimes it will make people unable to help in time, just like I did, just like I didn't catch up. Am I right, Kakashi? In this world, how can we fill this void? Kakashi also did not give in and gave his own answer. Although I am a useless ninja, I learned a lot, but I also learned a lot. The emptiness in my heart needs to be filled by my companions. If I don't like it, I will erase the memories of my companions. People who give up the world will not find companions. In this way, the emptiness in the heart cannot be filled. No one will help a person who only knows how to escape and does nothing, and as long as you don't give up, there will be hope of being saved. Haven't these two finished talking? What about the emptiness in the heart? How long are we going to discuss it? Hey, is it because you are too full that you think about these things all day long? Can't you live like a normal ninja? Laugh when you are happy and cry when you are sad. Why make it so complicated? If it doesn't work, it's better to be simple like those ambitious people. Conquer the world or destroy the world, don't worry about it, it's so simple. Chapter 711. Perhaps this is the difference between them and ordinary ambitious people. The more incomprehensible the pursuit is, the more likely they are to create such a grand scene. Accompanied by Kakashi's decisive speech, the 10 tailed beast ball flattened the countless earth walls in front of them. Even the thick barrier released by the rock ninja with all his strength could not stop it. Seeing that the tailed beast ball he released was ineffective, the 8 tails sacrificed himself to block the front of the coalition forces and push the 10 tailed beast ball with all his strength. Obito, unwilling to look back, disdained Kakashi's answer. You only know how to talk. Only by abandoning reality and abandoning the memories of your companions in this world can you get real happiness. In the ninja world, people who break the rules are called trash, but people who don't know how to cherish their companions are even worse than trash. And people who don't cherish the memories with their companions are worse than this. The lightning in Kakashi's hand lit up again. I won't abandon my memories with you, even if it's you who denies it now. Seeing that the Eight Tails was about to collapse, the next second, the tailed beast ball pressing on it suddenly disappeared without a trace. Just when the allied ninjas were confused, a flying thunder god Kunai fell in front of Naruto, and Minato flashed here and asked casually, "Am I late?" "No, just in time, Dad." Naruto smiled, with an expression that he had expected. It seems that it won't work. The combined strength of the coalition forces is useless under the attack of the Ten Tails. "Hello Hokage, come out and save the situation." Kakashi said so much, but Obito didn't listen to a word. He was determined to dream. It's the same talk about waste again. Does Kakashi want to learn from Naruto and use the past Obito to convince the present Obito? It's different from the time with Nagato. At least Nagato doesn't have a feeling of rejection and hatred towards his past self, but Obito is not like that. The fourth Hokage is here. How can this man still be so handsome even after he died? Damn. He just appeared and even made a handsome pose. Hell, never mind if he's just trying to look cool, but he does look very inspiring. Naruto's response is just right. Awesome. Dad is so handsome too. He's worthy of being the fourth Hokage. Naruto cheered again, causing Jiraiya, who was following behind him, to shake his head and smile. He looks so startled. He's just a child. It's probably too early to talk to him about feelings. Before Sakura behind him could sort out their conversation, the Ten Tails tailed beast ball fell onto the sea in the distance under the teleportation of the flying thunder god. Instantly, a violent explosion occurred, and the waves even surged directly onto the battlefield. After a brief shock, Sakura noticed Minato's black eyes after being resurrected by the impure world reincarnation, and she couldn't help but be alert. Minato saw her thoughts and comforted her. "Don't worry, I'm on your side. Thank you for restoring Naruto. Are you Naruto's girlfriend?" "Hum. That's about it." Naruto nodded and vaguely responded to Minato's guess. Sakura immediately put on a sour face and hit Naruto's head hard with a headbutt. On the head. "Shut up, idiot. Don't waste your energy talking." Looking at Naruto, who was beaten to the point of screaming in pain, Minato recalled Kushina's angry look with embarrassment and said with a wry smile, "Please treat my son well." For Minato's sake, Sakura stopped her violence, and then the three Hokage who were a step slower landed beside Minato. The second and third generations were impressed by Minato's speed, while the first generation went straight to the point and briefly explained the whole story to the shocked and excited eyes of the coalition forces. Sakura, whose mood fluctuated greatly, was still a little shocked, so Naruto reminded her, "There are reinforcements behind, but they will be a little later." Hiss. "Although I knew that the fourth Hokage could teleport the tailed beast ball, it is too strong to be able to easily teleport a tailed beast ball as big as the Ten Tails. The power is close to that of his life, plus the infinite chakra. Maybe he can do more exaggerated operations than he did in his life." Look at the fourth Hokage's stupid look. "And Naruto, you are really brave. Do you really want to prove your relationship with Sakura in front of your father?" "Ahem. Be careful, Naruto, the eldest lady of the Hyuga family is always watching you." Sakura, who was originally in a good mood, was shocked when she heard Naruto's after talking nonsense. He immediately gnashed his teeth fiercely. "Naruto, that guy, really deserves a beating. When he comes back, I will punish him." The speed of the second Hokage is not as fast as the fourth Hokage. Flying Thunder God is the ninjutsu he invented. What's so surprising about this? Orochimaru and Kabuto have studied the impure world reincarnation more than the second Hokage. Even Naruto's multiple shadow clones may not be comparable to the second Hokage. Don't talk about Naruto's use of shadow clones. The purpose is different. With the appearance of the first generation, Uchiha Madara rushed to the front of the coalition forces at the first time, with a ferocious and excited smile on his face, and couldn't wait to shout to the bottom, "I've been waiting for you for a long time, Hashirama. We'll talk about it later. We must stop the Ten Tails first." Senju Hashirama pointed at Uchiha Madara with disdain. He was totally unprepared for such a response. Uchiha Madara was stunned for a moment and then quickly calmed down his agitated mood. Humph, this guy hasn't changed at all. I really can't get along with him. At this time, the Ten Tails dragged its huge body towards the coalition forces. Minato told Naruto to take a break. Then, at the call of the first Hokage, a layer of golden chakra clothes suddenly appeared. Sakura was shocked when she saw this. Naruto proudly showed off to the Nine Tails. How is it? How is it? My dad is awesome. I know this better than you. He is the man who separated and sealed me. The Nine Tails responded as a matter of course. No one knows better than it what it means to be able to enter the Nine Tails mode. After marking in an instant, Minato disappeared with the second and third Hokage, and together with himself and the first Hokage, the four of them stood at the four corners around the Ten Tails. The next moment, the barrier technique, the four red yang formation, was deployed, and at the same time, the first Hokage's Senjutsu, Myojinman, was also activated, and 10 Torii gates fell from the sky to lock the Ten Tails of the Ten Tails. Chapter 712. Ha. Uchiha Madara, you're really too impatient, Tisk. After the first Hokage appeared, Uchiha Madara's aura changed, and it felt like he wasn't as oppressive as before. After all, he was a cold destroyer before, but now, I always feel like he'll make a comment that doesn't fit his image at any time. I can only say that the first Hokage was poisonous, and Uchiha Madara also became unserious. Wow. The fourth Hokage can actually use the Nine Tails mode. Should I say that dad is worthy of being a dad? Naruto achieved something with great difficulty, but his father did it easily. Easy. He was locked in the body of the God of Death for more than 10 years. Who knows how long it took him to enter this form? Something seems to be wrong. According to the performance of the first-generation Hokage not recognizing the fourth-generation Hokage, it can be seen that they should have no consciousness in the body of the God of Death. How did the fourth-generation Hokage master the nine-tailed chakra? Don't tell me that he completed it in such a short time after resurrection. That's too outrageous. This is also easy to explain. Maybe they live in a single room in the body of the God of Death, so the fourth-generation Hokage has time to practice, so the first-generation Hokage doesn't recognize him. Haha. This is a good idea, a single room, ha. Hey, no. Kyuubi, what's wrong with you? Naruto is showing off his father, but why are you so proud? Is it worth being proud of being used as a stepping stone? That's narrow-minded. This shows that Kyuubi is true to his nature. He never belittles the enemy's achievements, even if he stepped on it to get to the top. Funny, wow. The 4 red yang formation, a barrier technique that requires 4 cage-level players to activate. Can this ignore the next attack of the Ten Tails? It's hard to say. Although the power is more than 10 times that of the 4 purple flame formation, the destructive power of the Ten Tails is much greater than that of the so-called cage-level players. Has Naruto used this move, the Myojinman, before? Yes. Kyuubi also said this is the 6th Sage's ninjutsu. With 2 methods, we can finally seal the Ten Tails now. At the moment of sealing, Sasuke appeared in front of Naruto and Sakura. Unlike Sakura's surprise, Naruto said calmly, "You are too late, Sasuke." Sasuke. Sakura said the name in disbelief. Sasuke turned his head and glanced at her. Sakura. Sasuke. Why? Sakura came back to her senses. As she exclaimed, her companions all focused their attention. Aino was about to approach excitedly, but was quickly stopped by Shikamaru and Choji. Kiba did not hide his hostility and loudly questioned Sasuke's purpose. "You are still as annoying as before." Sasuke responded calmly, but even Sakura couldn't accept his presence without hesitation, so she asked straight to the point, "Sasuke, why are you here?" Faced with Sakura's question, Sasuke gave an answer that everyone didn't expect. "It's a long story, but I still decided to protect Konoha, and I want to become Hokage." Finally here, Sasuke. When the 2nd and 4th Hokage used Flying Thunder God, couldn't they bring Sasuke along? Fortunately they didn't bring him, otherwise the 4th Hokage would have been a little slower and would have been waiting to collect the bodies of the coalition forces. Tisk. Several people of Naruto's time don't welcome Sasuke's arrival. Normal, after all, they had decided he took action to deal with Sasuke. No matter from the standpoint of Konoha or the identity of a partner in the same period, there is no reason to treat Sasuke well. Not everyone can be as tolerant of Sasuke as Naruto. What? What did I hear? Sasuke said he wanted to become something. Ha ha ha. What's going on? Why did he want to become Hokage for no reason? As expected of Uchiha, from destroying Konoha to becoming Hokage, the transition was so smooth. Ha ha ha. I can't help it, I'm dying of laughter. I never thought that I would hear from Sasuke that he wanted to become Hokage. It turns out that Sarada's desire to become Hokage was inherited from Sasuke, not just a simple admiration for Naruto. Funny, what? Sasuke, that guy, actually wants to take my Hokage away. Naruto instantly exploded and shouted excitedly, which made Jiraiya beside him uncomfortable. She flicked his head in anger and lectured him. Pay attention to me, what are you yelling about? Let's not talk about the Hokage having nothing to do with you, a little kid who is just a chunin. Even if the Uchiha kid wants to compete for the Hokage, you should compete with him fairly. Are you afraid? Who is afraid of that guy Sasuke, you lecherous immortal? Watch me, how I will defeat that stinking Sasuke and become the Hokage in the future. Compared with Naruto's high morale, Sasuke was full of doubts about the answer given by himself on the sky. What on earth is that guy thinking, becoming the Hokage? Why would he have such an inexplicable idea? Itachi, who was traveling with him, was as indifferent as ever. He was even happy to see Sasuke become the Hokage. After all, Uchiha has been trying to compete for the position of Hokage for a long time, but it has never been successful due to historical issues. But the question is Sasuke's goal of becoming the Hokage serious? Itachi really didn't have much confidence in this. Because no matter how you look at it, it's unlikely that he can get a normal answer like becoming Hokage from his brother who acts in an extreme way, and it's unknown what Sasuke in the sky is thinking. When this was said, everyone was stunned at first, and then dumbfounded at the same time. Even Shikamaru and Shino, who were always calm and composed, couldn't hold it. A rebel ninja who has been on the run for many years suddenly came back and told a cold joke? Hey! Do you know what Hokage means? Kiba was the first to reject and roared at Sasuke. I don't know what happened to you, but it's impossible for you to become Hokage. Do you know what you are saying? Shikamaru responded after calming down, and Shino followed suit. Do you think the past can be written off? Chapter 713. I know I can't write it off, but I don't care how you look at me, Sasuke said expressionlessly. It was the success of Kages who caused the current situation, so I want to become the Hokage and change the village. Sasuke's answer reminded Naruto of what Itachi had said to him not long ago. It's not that becoming the Hokage will get everyone's recognition, but that you can become the Hokage only if you get everyone's recognition. In addition, he asked him to win back Sasuke. Thinking of this, Naruto immediately stood up and stood beside Sasuke, saying without giving in, the person who will become the Hokage is me. I knew no one could accept it calmly, because Sasuke's answer is really too inconsistent. It's comparable to the image of the ruffian Sasuke in the limited Tsukuyomi. Sasuke is quite serious, but no matter how you look at it, he has no chance. Even if he is not a traitor, his Uchiha identity does not allow him to sit in that position after all. This is what the second Hokage personally said. With his fickle temperament and the fact that he is very prone to falling into darkness, he is indeed not the right person to be the leader. The most important thing is that Naruto will never give up the position of Hokage. You also know how persistent he is. This is the biggest difficulty. It took a while for you to come back to his senses. After hearing Sasuke and Naruto express their desire to become Hokage on the screen, he was immediately furious. Assholes. These two guys are too self-righteous. Do they really think that the Hokage can only be chosen from the two of them? I haven't even opened my mouth yet. Yeah, even if you join the competition, you will not have the chance to win, because not everyone likes to keep dogs, and no one wants to celebrate dog festivals. Shino broke Ya's daydream with a sharp point, which stimulated Yor to the point that he wanted to push Shikamaru's face in front of him on the spot to make him understand how cute dogs are. At this time, the first generation reminded everyone that an attack was about to be launched. Naruto calmed himself down, left a message for Sakura to have a good rest, and called Sasuke to land on the edge of the barrier. Unexpectedly, Sakura did not follow Naruto's instructions this time. She followed and stood with the two of them. Facing Naruto's surprised eyes, Sakura asked in a deep voice, "Do you think I am just a weak woman who is not as good as you? Is it true that among the three ninjas, only Tsunade-sama can't bring up a good disciple? Just wait a little longer, it will be full soon, and I will be able to use my real strength soon. I am also a member of Team 7 and a disciple of the three ninjas." Looking at Sakura's eyes full of fighting spirit, Naruto smiled, hit his left palm heavily with his right fist, and shouted loudly, "Yo! Team 7, revive here! Go! Sakura! Sasuke!" Although Kiba still shouted that he wanted to become Hokage, with Naruto's encouragement, everyone temporarily put down their guard against Sasuke and concentrated their attention to prepare for the battle. Sakura has been performing very well since the beginning. With such courage and speaking skills, she will have no problem competing for the position of Hokage. Ha ha ha. Even Sasuke can do it, why can't Sakura? Sakura is great, let them see how powerful we girls are. I feel that girls in the conventional sense cannot be used to define Sakura, and it is even more ridiculous to say that she is weak. Hard power is indeed not as good as Naruto and Sasuke, but as a medical ninja, she dares to step on the front line. This courage is enough. Damn, I get excited even watching it through the sky. This is the first time that Team 7 has truly fought side by side. Sakura covered her violently beating hard and looked at the sky with anticipation. I never thought that there would be such a day when I could join hands with him to fight the enemy. Naruto waved his arms heavily to cheer for Sakura on the sky. Come on, Sakura. You are the best. Sasuke nodded slightly and murmured, not bad. Everyone was preparing to act, but the 10 Tails once again used the Tail Beast Ball. Fortunately, the protection of the 4 Red Yang formation was quite powerful. Not only did it easily withstand the attack, but it also allowed the 10 Tails to withstand the impact of the explosion. The first generation naturally had no reason to miss this opportunity. He immediately used the Majingman to block the head of the 10 Tails, and then transformed 5 wood-release clones, opened the entrances and exits on all sides of the barrier, and led the coalition forces to launch an attack. Come on, let me be your opponent. On the other side, the 5th wood-release clone came in front of Uchiha Madara, but Uchiha Madara was not interested in it. He sat cross-legged and said that he would fight after the original body of the first generation was done. Amazing. He actually blocked the attack of the 10 Tails. As expected, it takes 4 Hokage to cast a barrier technique. This will temporarily stabilize the situation before the 10 Tails shows further destructive power. But it's still unclear how to win. Uchiha Madara must be sealed. Obito is a living person and can be knocked down head-on, but the 10 Tails, it's impossible to kill it, so we have to find a way to seal it. Apart from the Uzumaki clan's sealing technique, only the first Hokage and Naruto have used the 6 Path Sage's sealing technique, so we have to find a way from the first Hokage or the 4th Hokage. From Uchiha Madara's leisurely performance, it's not that simple. Either he firmly believes that the 10 Tails cannot be sealed, or he still has a backup plan to turn the tables. It feels like the last enemy to face should be him. Yes, Obito seems to be taking the initiative, but the plan was made by Uchiha Madara at the beginning. No one knows how much preparation he has made. It's not that easy for Obito to pick peaches. The coalition forces rushed into the barrier, and the 10 Tails would naturally not sit idly by. With its entire body blocked, the 10 Tails split into a large number of alien monsters of various shapes from the surface of its body, howling and meeting the coalition's attack. Naruto and Sasuke rushed to the front line, punching, kicking, and chopping at the incoming split bodies. Sakura followed closely behind, looking at the 2 fighting figures with complex emotions in her eyes. Yes, ever since I became a Jonin, I have considered myself a capable female ninja, but in fact, I always see their backs. In battle, they always protect the cowardly me, and I hate myself like that, so I swear that I will let them see my back in the future. Chapter 714. Even though I swore that, Sasuke and Naruto were always in front of me, running further and further away, so I thought, I can't catch up with them after all, because they are too strong. I can only choose to give up. Oh my god, it can split into such a small monster. What else can this 10 Tails do? I thought the coalition forces would at least have the advantage in numbers, but now it's gone. Let's see how strong it is, but I know it won't be easy to deal with. After all, it's the 10 Tails. Anything can happen. Speaking of which, Sakura has made up her mind several times, but it seems that she always makes the same mistake. Once in the Chunin exam, once after Naruto failed to chase Sasuke, and once when she met Sasuke again. There was one time when she wanted to kill Sasuke, and she just came again. Her strength and character are indeed growing, but once she meets Sasuke, she will collapse inexplicably. It can only be said that Sasuke's influence on Sakura is really too great. In fact, Sakura has done very well. After all, she is not like Naruto and Sasuke. One has the blood of the Uzumaki clan and the identity of Jinchuriki, and the other has the blood of the Uchiha clan. Under such circumstances, she can continue to cheer up and catch up with him. She has surpassed most people in the ninja world. It's very hard, me on the sky curtain. Sakura couldn't help but feel a little pity for herself in the sky curtain, and was also very fortunate that she had abandoned the arrogance of an excellent student early because of the influence of the sky curtain, and followed the footsteps of Naruto and Sasuke step by step. Because she recognized her position very early, Sakura rarely complained about herself like herself in the sky curtain. She only needed to do her best to keep moving forward. She didn't ask to stand beside Naruto and Sasuke and become the main force in the battle, as long as she didn't let herself become a burden to the two. A split body rushed towards Sakura, but was stopped by her right hand. Sakura clenched her left fist and remembered Tsunade's teachings to her. As a medical ninja, you must never rush to the front line of the battlefield rashly, but this cannot be a reason for you not to learn combat techniques. After all, you are a female ninja who inherited the power of the three ninjas. And Hiruno Sakura, you are the disciple of the fifth Hokage. A diamond-shaped mark appeared on her forehead. Sakura smiled confidently and punched with her left fist with all her strength. All the chakra accumulated so far can finally be released. The huge force fell on the split body of the Ten Tails, and it flew back dozens of meters and knocked down all the other split bodies along the way. Sakura took advantage of the victory and chased after the split body, jumping high to catch up with the split body that was hit, and then punched it hard. Go to hell! The roar resounded through the battlefield, and the ground exploded and swallowed all the split bodies within a few dozen meters. Naruto looked at the scene in front of him in horror, and secretly swore in his heart, never make Sakura angry again, or she will be beaten to pieces. Hey! Isn't this diamond-shaped mark the 100 healings technique of Tsunade? Yeah, what's the problem with this? Didn't you notice that the future Sakura has this mark on her forehead? It's not strange to use it here, so, since you have learned even Tsunade's most hidden ninjutsu, can we say that, now Sakura has the strength to rival Tsunade? Maybe she's a little behind in experience, but, the power of this punch is on par with Tsunade's level no matter how you look at it. Damn. A punch like this can produce such an effect, such attack power. Maybe she can compare to Naruto and Sasuke in terms of comprehensiveness in combat, but Sakura's medical ninjutsu also has a role that the two can't replace, so give me some confidence. You are no worse than them at all. The first generation marveled at Sakura's great strength, and among the ninjas on the field, only Shizune understood how difficult it was to condense the seal of the 100 healings. At this time, several slightly larger split bodies blocked Sakura in front of her. Seeing this, Naruto and Sasuke quickly attacked, and the Rasenshuriken and Amaterasu controlled by Kagutsuchi hit the target, and then the two rushed to Sakura's side and protected each other's backs in a triangle formation. Sasuke! Sakura shouted excitedly, leaving Naruto on the other side speechless. I'm here too, Sakura. Don't hold me back, Naruto. Sasuke habitually argued with Naruto, and Sakura also joked, that's right. If you still say such petty things, be careful that I will take away the position of Hokage. Hey! Even Sakura wants to compete with me. Let's fight side by side this time. Sakura said with a smile, with unprecedented confidence on her face, Lady Tsunade. I finally caught up with him. Great, Sakura, you can become a role model for all girls, even the first Hokage has recognized her. As a senior, Shizune is even more ashamed. Show them your back confidently, I say, don't exaggerate. Although Sakura's medical ninjutsu is very useful, its importance in this war is still not as important as Naruto and Sasuke's. It's just Sakura's illusion that she caught up with them. Medical ninjas should just do the logistics work and leave the fighting to professionals, huh? Are you saying this to look down on medical ninjas, or do you look down on us women? Don't forget how Lady Tsunade performed when she fought against Uchiha Madara before. Now Sakura has inherited her legacy, why can't she stand there, have the courage to stand beside the two of them? Sakura has already caught up with them with her determination to fight side by side with them. Why do you look down on her? That is to say, Sakura has already issued a slogan to compete for the Hokage. If she and Naruto become candidates for the Hokage together, I will definitely vote for her. What are you discussing about inexplicable things? It is obviously a very exciting scene, but you are questioning whether Sakura should stand there. Can't you just watch the performance obediently? The Ten Tails is our common enemy. These people are so boring, discussing these. Sakura curled her lips speechlessly, and then turned her attention back to herself in the sky. But, courage, if you can have this kind of awareness, the pain you have suffered in the past will not matter. Come on, me in the sky, and then I am the same. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 715. While keeping alert to the surroundings, Naruto and Sasuke kept looking at each other's new power. Outside the barrier, Minato also praised Naruto's Rasenshuriken, but not everyone was happy about it. At least Kiba couldn't stand the three of them being so prominent. He called his two teammates to prepare to go on the court with an unconvinced look on his face, and even deliberately used Naruto's best shadow clone. Although he only created one and was strongly complained by Naruto, Kiba said that one more person could exert 3 times the usual power. With a strong competitive spirit, Kiba, the shadow clone, and Akamaru jointly performed the Inuzuka-style human-beast hybrid transformation. The next second, a white 3-headed giant wolf replaced Kiba's position and howled majestically. HMPH. Sasuke's prank is really annoying, but I didn't expect it to be quite exciting. With a complaint, the 3-headed wolf quickly turned into a circular saw and crossed the battlefield. The physical technique tail chase, Gangfang easily cut off all the split bodies on the way. At the same time, Shino, who is on the same team, also started to act. He punched a split body, and a mutant insect drilled into the enemy's body along his arm. After a few breaths, as the insect split and expanded, the split body of the Ten Tails was instantly hollowed out by the huge insect and died on the spot. Hinata, with her thoughts of Neji and the courage given by Naruto, played the 8 diagram's 64 palms, and then used the soft step double lion fist to prepare for the next stronger attack. At first I thought the Inuzuka family's brat was just out to make fun of me, but I didn't expect he was actually quite capable. Even a 2-headed wolf in his Jinan period could produce such destructive power. Why would anyone think he was making fun of me? Compared to the performance of other ninjas, this result is really great. After all, the Inuzuka clan is not a clan known for fighting. I don't doubt the fighting power of the Aburim clan, but this attack method is really creepy. I have goosebumps all over my body. It's okay. Anyway, the split body of the Ten Tails looks weird. It will be eaten by disgusting insects. Speaking of, Hinata didn't know the 8 diagram's 64 palms before, how could she perform it now? That's already great. All those who have the courage to move forward deserve praise, no matter how they performed before. HMPH. A mere Ten Tails clone, I can easily kill it if I get serious. 3-headed wolf, isn't it pretty cool? Yo said with a smug look on her face, while Shino, who was also in the limelight, showed an annoyed expression. Damn it. Bugs are not disgusting. These people don't know anything. Only Hinata behaved a little calmer. After all, she had just watched Neji's sacrifice not long ago, which diluted the joy brought by her bravery. Let's go to the 10th team in the Ino Shikacho formation. We can't fall behind. Ino was also full of fighting spirit and said to her 2 teammates. Shikamaru looked at her helplessly and said, this is not the Chunin exam. There's no need to compete with other classes. Now it's a war. He said this, but Shikamaru still squatted down and connected with Chaji's shadow. Chaji used the super transformation technique to transform into a giant, and Ino was responsible for providing perception. The 3 of them combined their strength to launch a unique combination attack of Ino Shikacho, the Meat Bomb Yo-Yo. Under the control of the shadow, Chaji's huge body easily swept away all the nearby clones with an unpredictable trajectory, and reminded, I'm going to double the weight again, can you hold on? No problem, this weight is nothing. If we don't show our real skills, how will others know how powerful we are? Shikamaru replied, leaving Ino speechless. Look at you, you want to compete with them too. Watching his friends show off their skills, Sagi rode the painted bird from the air to take the 10 tails. I'm also a member of Team 7. However, perhaps his actions were too blatant, attracting the attention of the clones on the ground. Before Sagi flew far, a spear attacked and defeated the painted bird he was sitting on. Fortunately, Naruto acted in time and rescued Sagi with his extended chakra arm. How come they are getting more energetic the more they fight? They are like chicken blood. They looked weak and powerless not long ago, but in the blink of an eye, they are killing the enemy. They are pretending, right? Damn it. Naruto and his friends are fine, but why are the kids of the same generation shaking? Are all the ninjas from other villages dead, and they just let the guys from Konoha take the limelight? Not to mention the older generation, but among the new generation of ninjas, the ninjas from other villages are. It is true that we are not as talented as Konoha, so it is normal that we cannot compete with them. I don't think we can compete with them, but we are not as fancy as them, so even if we are stronger than them, we are selectively ignored by Shiamu. Indeed, judging from the surrounding background, there are also many ninjas who rely on ninja tools to kill the enemy, so the reason why these little brats in Konoha can shake up is actually because of the contrast of the enemy. Asshole. You can't stand us being in the spotlight, so you slander us. Do you think the combined attack of our no Shikacho team is ordinary? I know, who was looked down upon, stripped off the petals in her hand with a look of displeasure, and sulked alone. On the other side, Shikamaru, who was spending time with Shaji, lay on the lawn, completely exhausted. It's so troublesome, why do I have to compete with others? Shikamaru on the screen also wants to compete with others. Shaji laughed while eating potato chips. Shikamaru turned over and muttered in response, the trouble I'm talking about is me. Have I become a hot-blooded idiot when I grow up? Taking this as a signal, the coalition ninjas, who were originally unstoppable, are increasing in number and size. Under the impact of the split bodies, casualties gradually began to occur. For this reason, the first generation of Wood Clone had to attack frequently, which barely maintained the situation. Sonji had a clear understanding of the situation on the field. When he learned that Naruto could not provide chakra support for everyone, he expressed his concerns. If you want to destroy the main body, you can only eliminate those split bodies while looking for a gap to approach. This distance cannot be jumped in one breath, and it takes time to seal to resist the enemy's attack. Without the protection of Naruto's chakra, everyone will be easily seriously injured, but the medical team cannot rush to the front. Chapter 716. Hearing such a clear analysis, Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura bit their thumbs and pressed them to the ground. Sasuke, eliminate, wait for an opportunity to approach, easy. Naruto, just jump over to approach the target, and you can also launch attacks and resist enemy attacks. Sakura, even if everyone is seriously injured, I can always heal them by their side. I can do it now. Summoning technique, 3. Accompanied by loud shouts that resounded throughout the battlefield, a giant toad holding a cigarette and a dagger, a giant snake with dark blue scales coiled in a ball, and a giant slug with blue stripes suddenly appeared. The Ten Tails clones are still getting bigger and stronger. It's really hard to deal with them. The increase in combat power is secondary. The key is that there are too many of them. Can the Ten Tails split infinitely? If it's just consuming energy, it might be true. Speaking of which, after the appearance of several Hokage, they were dragged there by the barrier and couldn't do anything. I was counting on them to turn the tide and open up the situation. At least with them here, we don't have to worry about the Ten Tails' large-scale attack. They are just some clones. We can't really throw all the work to the already people who have died. Tisk tisk, look at what Sai said, he is just short of calling out Naruto's names. Ah. Do you have to be so tacit, Team 7? Oh. A perfect replica of the three ninjas. Go, Naruto. Damn, a summoning technique actually made me excited. Oh. So cool. I want to see how Shikamaru and Kiba compare with our Team 7. Naruto was so excited that he jumped up and down, and he was so eager to fight that he wanted to fight on the spot. Facing Itachi's occasional glances, Sasuke pretended to be calm and looked at the sky, but from his slightly raised mouth, it can be seen that Sasuke's heart at this time was not as calm as he appeared. Sakura's cheeks flushed slightly. Even though she could calmly distinguish between herself and Sakura on the screen, she couldn't help but feel a little excited when she saw such a highlight performance. Her sense of immersion was fully maximized. Although he was shocked that Gamakachi had grown into a big toad in a short time, Naruto did not forget his business and ordered Gamakachi to jump directly to the vicinity of the Ten Tails in one breath. The green snake also received Sasuke's order and just rushed forward regardless of everything. Sakura, with the slug's praise, asked it to split and attach itself to everyone in the coalition immediately, ready to provide treatment for everyone. I didn't expect to see the spirit summoning Sancho again. Minato sighed deeply at the scene in front of him. The Sensei even recalled the three disciples' youth with a nostalgic look on his face, holding the joy of the arrival of a new era. Go. After the words fell, the green snake took off and stabbed into the split body of the Ten Tails at a speed that was completely inconsistent with its huge body. It relied on its agile reaction to avoid the attack of the split body and moved forward in a winding manner. Gamakachi jumped up, waving his short sword to block the spear thrown by the split body, and quickly approached the Ten Tails with an unstoppable attitude. The slug instantly split apart and healed the injuries of all the ninjas of the coalition, and even did not spare a scratch on Sonny's face. I suddenly realized that it wasn't Bunta. I thought Sasuke's summoning beast would be an eagle. It seems that Orochimaru's teachings have left some marks on him. Sasuke's snake is much more good-tempered than Orochimaru's snake. Being able to treat everyone present by herself, regardless of whether Sakura's medical ninjutsu has reached Tsunade's level, she has already stood at the forefront of the ninja world. They are so similar. No wonder the third Hokage thought of the three disciples at first sight. Jiraiya, this is the inheritance, I really miss it. Orochimaru, huh? I can't be happy to see myself being used as a stepping stone. Tsunade, well done. Sakura, you didn't disappoint me. A wall with spikes was generated from a huge split body and blocked the front, but this did not cause any hindrance to Sasuke. The flame of Amaterasu turned into a blazing sword and easily cut through the wall. Then Sasuke used Susanoo to draw the bow and arrow, and with Naruto's shout, it quickly merged with a super large jade spiral shuriken he threw. Looking at this scene, Naruto remembered what he said to Yamato when he was learning the nature change. Only wind can boost the power of fire and make it stronger. With such thoughts, in the expectation of everyone in the middle, the windmill-like black shuriken hit the Ten Tails, causing it to howl piercingly. The second Hokage was deeply moved by this, because even a partner of many years might not be able to achieve such a perfect fusion of ninjutsu. Minato habitually used his talent for naming and named this move Scorch Release, Light Wheel Gale Black Arrow Zero style, which means that he was the only one around, so no one complained about it. Naruto is really something. You are always thinking about Sasuke, even the nature of chakra is so complementary. Resentru confused with Amaterasu, an unexpected combination. Although the second Hokage boasted about it, the power does not seem to be as great as imagined. Please, pay attention to the size of the Ten Tails. It is already strong enough for two people to attack on this scale. Is the fourth Hokage telling a cold joke, trying to ease the tense atmosphere of the war? It's a bit of a character ruin. A good handsome guy shouldn't go for the funny route. Ha ha ha. You're wrong, this is Minato's naming style. It's the same as always, that serious look is the funniest. Did someone say that the name of Teichi Rasengan didn't fit in Laolan before? This is why. The contrast is cute, it feels more interesting. What's wrong with this name? It sounds very handsome. Minato muttered with a depressed look, he was very satisfied with this name. At the same time, Orochimaru brought Suigetsu and Karin to the 5-cage battlefield where the battle ended early. After the two were amazed at the slug, they fell in front of the dying and severely aged Tsunade. The body was cut in half, and it was barely able to survive by relying on a dozen small slugs. In this situation, the big slugs beside Tsunade immediately became frightened when Orochimaru approached, and threatened with acid in their mouths. Chapter 717. However, when Orochimaru said that he had no ill intentions and Tsunade was about to collapse, the slug reluctantly suppressed his hostility. With permission, Orochimaru walked to Tsunade's side, checked her injuries, and asked the slug about the conditions of the other cages. When he learned that the other cages were also seriously injured and the slug was unable to fully perform the treatment due to Tsunade's condition, Orochimaru immediately took over the treatment. Of course, that's what he said, but the treatment was actually done by Suigetsu and Karin. Orochimaru's only responsibility was to stretch his neck and make an inhuman gesture, urging the two unwilling people to complete the treatment with all their heart. Oh, so Orochimaru is running here. I was just wondering why he was so much slower than Sasuke. Although Orochimaru was unable to move before, he was very clear about the current situation in the ninja world. Fortunately, he stood on the side of the coalition because of Sasuke, otherwise I can't imagine how much more troublesome enemies there would be. Tsunade is really lucky. It has been a long time since her body was broken, but she has managed to hold on until now, and she is still treating several other cage. Ha ha ha. It's not easy to be his subordinate, and you have to suffer such perverted threats at any time. I should have gotten used to it a long time ago. After all, he has been a scoundrel for a long time. Tsunade smacked her lips in dissatisfaction, with a look of disgust on her face. I didn't expect that I would have to rely on Orochimaru's help in the end. If possible, I really don't want to face this situation. Relying on Sujetsu's water transformation to reconnect Tsunade's body, relying on Karin's special physique to heal the wound and restore chakra. After a while, Tsunade, who has regained her ability to move, slowly sat up, and Orochimaru, while checking the other shadows in the slug's split body, he asked Tsunade for credit. Tsunade, you should thank me at least. Tsunade did not completely let down her guard because of Orochimaru's help, and asked directly, you are a person who betrayed the village, and now you come to save me, why? Orochimaru turned to look at Tsunade and chuckled, now my interests have become much wider. In the past, I thought about turning into the wind to turn the windmill, but now I have experienced the fun of waiting for the wind. Before enjoying the fun brought by the wind, I don't want to be imprisoned by the enemy's illusion. Is Karin's healing ability so strange that she can recover by being bitten by others? Look at the bite marks on her arm. She has been bitten a lot. How good do you expect to be treated under Orochimaru? Orochimaru himself calls Sujetsu and Karin experimental subjects. Bullshit. I was bitten by the bastard from Kusagakure. Karin was furious when she saw this barrage, so Sujetsu, who often teased her, had to speak carefully to comfort her. Okay, those guys who offended you have been dealt with by Lord Orochimaru anyway, calm down, calm down. She said this, but Shuayu didn't think so in her heart. The treatment I received from Orochimaru is really not that good. If it weren't for Shyamaru, I would still be locked in that jar. Orochimaru's words are still as literary as ever. Does this make him seem unfathomable? In the past, he took the initiative to promote changes in the situation, but now he has become passive. Although I don't know what fun this kind of passivity has. Let's put the reasons aside. It's enough to stand with the coalition forces. The third Hokage puffed on his cigarette, feeling a little relieved about the changes in Orochimaru. It's fine this way, as long as you don't come to mess with Konoha. It would be better if you can do more meaningful things. After a moment of silence, Tsunade lowered her eyes and said with emotion, you are still the same, always saying inexplicable things, but you are still a little different. People will change, I think. It's probably because he died twice before, but it's a pity that he didn't leave like me. Orochimaru meant something. Tsunade knew he was talking about Jiraiya, and immediately said with regret, Orochimaru, if you can change earlier, Jiraiya may not have to die. But in this case, maybe Jiraiya has changed. Orochimaru spread his hands, his face indifferent, just like us three ninjas. Things in the world can't always make people happy. Unity is not our style. There will always be disharmony somewhere. That's why I want to witness Sasuke's final choice. I want to see it clearly chew the wind on him. Orochimaru showed a wicked smile, his heart full of expectations. After finishing this conversation, Orochimaru took Sujetsu and Karin to the main battlefield, leaving Tsunade alone to treat the other cages and receive the latest information on the battlefield from the slug. The relationship between the three ninjas is really awkward. They fought each other when they were alive. But when Orochimaru died, Jiraiya and Tsunade missed him. Now Jiraiya is gone, and it's Orochimaru and Tsunade's turn to remember him. Can't they be more honest? Like Orochimaru said, things in the world are always imperfect. It is normal to have flaws. Well, so what Orochimaru wants to see is actually how Sasuke will deal with his relationship with his friends in the end, or how he will deal with his relationship with Naruto. Well, although I am also very interested in this, it always feels a bit uncomfortable to focus on Orochimaru for such gossip. It's good not to make trouble, but I still want to ask, how did he change his goal of pursuing the truth to studying little boys? Social relationship. Maybe it's empathy. After all, the relationship between Naruto and Sasuke is very similar to the relationship between him and Jiraiya. Empathy. Jiraiya murmured, with a complicated expression, so I should actually insist on getting Orochimaru back on track. Speaking, Jiraiya shook his head in self-mockery, thinking too much. Only when someone dies, the other two will show some emotions, but if they are all alive, I'm afraid they would hate someone to die. Back to the main battlefield, looking at the 10 tails entangled in black flames, Naruto shouted to Sasuke, Sasuke. The tailed beasts are all in that big guy's body. When it becomes weak, stop the black flames, and Kurama and I will work together to pull the tailed beasts out. Chapter 718. I refuse. Let's keep it as it is and burn it to ashes, Sasuke said coldly without even looking at him, ignoring Naruto's chattering. Sasuke made up his mind. I want to destroy all the negative systems I have so far. Then start over. As a result, before Amaterasu's burning range could expand, the part of the 10 tails that was hit started to wriggle and separate the burning part. Then, it seized the opportunity when Naruto and Sasuke went deep into their own position and commanded many split bodies to surround the two. Yes, according to Itachi's previous description of Amaterasu, burning everything to ashes, if he's not exaggerating, maybe he can really put an end to the 10 tails. I think it's a close call. Just like Kakashi's Kamui, Amaterasu is just a main Gekaioi technique. Even if you don't understand it, you can intuitively see the gap between it and the 10 tails. It seems unlikely that you can solve the 10 tails with just this one move. It's easier to solve than you thought. Just split the burning part. I really thought too much? When I saw those split bodies, I should have thought that the 10 tails would have this way of dealing with it. Although there are only a few signs, it can already be seen that Naruto and Sasuke have differences. One wants to save the tail beasts, and the other wants to kill them all in one go. I wonder if there will be a conflict over this later. Destroying the negative system sounds a bit like Obito's destroying the ninja system. Will Sasuke go crazy after solving the problem of Uchiha Madara and Obito? After all, they are Uchiha. It's hard to say, MD, I'm really afraid of them. Can't they be a little more mediocre? Why do they all have such lofty ideals? The battlefield was filled with smoke and dust, so the crisis of Naruto and Sasuke was not known to the coalition forces for the time being. At this time, Sasuke came to Sakura and asked directly, Sakura, can I ask you a question? Without waiting for Sakura to speak, Sasuke continued, I don't know Sasuke very well, so I can observe calmly. I can't trust Sasuke as a real companion. What do you think, Sakura? It's okay. Sasuke is really back. I'm very happy about it. He is worthy of our trust. Sakura turned her head and said to Sasuke with a smile, but Sasuke couldn't feel at all reassured by this answer. Maybe what you said is true, but I know very well that your smile is fake. At the same time, after learning about the situation on the main battlefield through the slug, Tsunade said to the several cages who had recovered around her, in this case, we come over there too. Is Sasuke suspicious of something? Why is he asking Sakura this all of a sudden? Everyone would be wary, not to mention that Sasuke's situation is so complicated, especially for Sasuke, who is from the Anbu. Why is Sakura's reaction so strange? Why is she pretending to smile? Is she trying to hide something? Tisk, these teenagers, why are their minds so hard to understand? Can't they show more behavior that is appropriate for their age? I don't understand, the way humans get along is so complicated. Sasuke was holding a book on interpersonal relationships, flipping through it while studying the contents on the skylight. The cages are finally up. I don't know how much combat power they have recovered, but it's good to help. The combat power may be affected, but with Itsukage-sama's previous performance, she will definitely be able to play a role on the battlefield. If you say so, then the Hokage-sama is even more important. Just like now, as long as she can maintain her condition, no matter how bad the situation is, she can leave us a glimmer of hope. Okay, stop bragging. There are 4 Hokage on the battlefield now, and no matter how you look at it, Naruto is the most important one. The scene changes, and in the Kamui space, Kakashi and Obito violently collide with each other, accompanied by the spray of blood, and the hand knife and the sharp blade pierced each other's chest. After suffering such a heavy blow, Kakashi showed an impatient expression on his face and said, Obito, that's enough, I'm tired, the illusion contest ends here. With these words, the two figures who were in a stalemate disappeared on the spot. I don't intend to continue to waste time, the future you pursue is doomed to a dead end. As he spoke, Kakashi made the seal of opposition, and Obito followed suit. As they looked at each other, time seemed to go back to the past competition within the team, the same physical contest, but it was 100 times more dangerous than before, and every move was fatal. Fuck. Such an exciting change of scene all of a sudden. Tisk, it's an illusion. So, the Raikiri that Obito used to hit Kakashi was also an illusion. No wonder he was fine even after his chest was pierced. I thought it was the effect of Oshirima's cells. After all, he's an Uchiha. Starting with an illusion is a common tactic. Okay, Kakashi finally stopped talking nonsense. Let's get started. Have you made up your mind to kill? After all, it's unlikely that an ordinary attack will stop Obito. Is Obito's seal of opposition intentional or unintentional? At this time after waiting, there is a sense of ritual. In this way, I said that he had abandoned the past. Who believed it? What do you want to do while fighting? It's just a bit high. In the strong offensive of Kakashi, the soil was fighting and retreated, and the flames spit out from his mouth. Kakashi bowed his head and escaped, and then the two of them started a more dangerous blade, along with a battle, the scene recalled in the Kakashi brain. In the days of competing with the mouth with the soil, the obstacles to Naruto as the guardian, the first time became the guidance to the 7th class, Sasuke's rebellion and Naruto's insistence, such unforgettable. Naruto, you are not confused at all. You are stronger than me. There are many things that only you can do. Now I have no choice but to do what I can, which is to protect the past. Obito, Chapter 719. Obito was kicked to the ground. Kakashi held the Raikiri and stabbed him in the chest without hesitation. Obito was not to be outdone and hide a black stick from his palm. In the memory of the past when the two of them made a seal of reconciliation, the attacks of both sides really penetrated each other. That is to say, let the current Obito be buried here. From the sound of his heart alone, you can tell how much burden Kakashi is carrying. This is also the price. If you want to keep the memories with your companions, you have to bear the pain as well. Naruto has made it very clear. Hiss. This is not an illusion. I didn't expect Kakashi to really do it. His voice and his heart has been very clear. This is the awareness shown by Obito to protect the past. Awareness, must it go this far? Obito can't turn back. Kakashi closed his eyes, was silent for a moment, and then made up his mind. If it is destined to be like this, then in order to protect the past Obito, I will make the same choice as on the sky. Somewhere in the ninja world, Obito seemed to have realized something and showed relief smile. It's good this way, leaving all the good things in the past, so that I can pursue the future I want without any burden. Kakashi's attack pierced Obito's chest, but Obito's black stick only pierced Kakashi's shoulder. The attack ended, and the two distanced themselves. Kakashi pulled out the black stick, looked at the hole in Obito's chest, and said sadly, "That's it, Obito." Ha ha ha. Obito coughed up blood and showed a fierce look that would not give in. This duel, Count, you won, but you can't win this war. As he said that, Obito activated Kamui and disappeared on the spot. Under the gaze of Uchiha Madara, who had casually killed the first-generation clone, he fell out of the space vortex in a mess and fell on the body of the Ten Tails. It seems that I'm useless now. I wanted to compete with Hashirama before I became a Jinchuriki, but now I can't. Seeing Obito lying on the ground, Uchiha Madara naturally wouldn't miss this opportunity. He immediately activated the backup left in Obito's body. Amid his painful howls, a layer of black substance quickly covered Obito's right half body. At the same time, several black rods emerged from his right arm to strengthen the control. It's time to use the Samsara to revive me. Uchiha Madara controlled Obito to get up from the ground. Obito, who was fully aware of the current situation, was thinking of Rin's face at this time. With this thought in mind, Obito made seals with both hands and let out a shrill roar, attracting the attention of everyone on the battlefield. Did Obito hold back? Or did Kakashi dodge it? Obito probably didn't hold back. Kakashi is more skilled. This can be seen from the fact that Kakashi has the upper hands in their fight. Although it's not as exaggerated as in the illusion, Obito was able to continue moving even with his chest pierced. It must be thanks to Hashirama's cells. Well, what's the point of living like this? He was directly controlled by Uchiha Madara. He was just a little bit scared. He looked like he would not admit defeat, but the next second he was controlled by Uchiha Madara. No matter how you think about it, Obito is a loser. The only difference is who he lost to. This is the end of Obito. After all his efforts, it was all in vain. He didn't even know what he was pursuing. Tisk, Uchiha Madara's backhand is hidden deep enough. Did Obito find it for so many years? If it was so easy to be discovered, Uchiha Madara wouldn't have died so easily. To face the last enemy. Obito, I saved you so that I could be fully resurrected. Uchiha Madara showed a cold look. Now it's time for you to repay me. The first generation guessed that Uchiha Madara wanted to control Obito to perform the Samsara, and hurriedly shouted to Naruto and Sasuke who were closest to Obito, "Young men, listen carefully. Stop the man on the head of the 10 tails from performing the spell now. Compared to Naruto, who was half a beat slower, Sasuke heard and directly let the green snake attack without saying a word, and Minato, who knew Obito's identity at this time, immediately showed an indifferent look. So, that's it. At the same time, the first and second generations who maintained the barrier divided their little energy and transformed several clones to rush towards Uchiha Madara to try to interrupt his control. Uchiha Madara looked at their actions coldly and said indifferently, "You didn't have time to get to Obito, so you turned around and attacked me. But you should know that you can't stop me with just clones." Tisk tisk, every word Uchiha Madara said after saving Obito has a hidden meaning, such as saying that Obito will definitely join him, and saying that he wants Obito to repay him well. What kind of deep meaning is this? Uchiha Madara's expression is just short of writing ill intentions on his face. It's just that Obito's personality is particularly extreme. If it were someone else, do you think anyone would pay attention to him? Tisk tisk, suddenly I remembered that the fourth Hokage seemed to have just found out Obito's identity. I don't know how the fourth Hokage feels. I guess he would never have thought that he and his wife would die because of this disciple. Well, there are still variables. Can the first and second Hokage stop it? Sasuke approached quickly, and the green snake on the 10 tails was locked by the arm extending from its body. Seeing this, Sasuke abandoned the green snake and acted alone. Susanoo shot out the arrow of Amaterasu, which was intercepted by the black stick shot by Obito's right arm. Sasuke had no choice but to rely on his feet to continue moving forward. As the technique was activated, Obito's hair turned white at a speed visible to the naked eye. While his body was in intense pain, Obito couldn't help but fall into memories, thinking of himself in his youth, and looking at the figures of Kakashi and Rin together with loss. "You won't always be like this now, don't give up easily, don't you like Lin the most? We are going to be Hokage, right?" Obito, in his memory, Minato's teachings lingered in the ears of the young Obito, and the flying thunder god Kune suddenly passed by, blood splattered, interrupting the seals of Obito's hands. The two people who were close to each other looked at each other. Obito looked at the man in front of him in a trance, and murmured, "Teacher." Obito. Minato remembered the battle on the night of the Nine Tails Rebellion, his eyes full of sadness. "So, it was you." Chapter 720. This black stick seems to be a derivative weapon of the Rinnegan. It feels like every time it appears, it refreshes my cognition. It is so powerful that it can easily block even the arrows shot by Sasuke Susanoo. As an advanced eye technique of the Mangekyo Sharingan, the derivative weapon of the Rinnegan is stronger than the power of the Mangekyo. What's so strange about that? Tisk tisk, learn from Kakashi. What does it mean to be straightforward? The fourth Hokage did it. He did it without saying anything. You can't compare the two together. Kakashi feels guilty because he didn't keep his promise, but the fourth Hokage didn't do anything to let Obito down. From the perspective of the fourth Hokage, Obito is indeed quite heartless. After all, he is an Uchiha who can kill even his clan members. What's the big deal about giving up a teacher? The better the memories, the more painful the reality. Minato sighed deeply, his expression a little confused. As a victim, Minato should undoubtedly hate Obito as the perpetrator. It was because of him that the family that should have been happy became fragmented, and Naruto spent an extremely depressing childhood. However, as a teacher, Minato felt ashamed for not being able to save Rin and Obito, including not being able to recognize Obito on the night of the Nine Tails Rebellion. If I could recognize Obito at that time, would things have turned out in a good direction? The launch of the Samsara Fate failed, but Uchiha Madara didn't care and supported his face, looking at the first generation clone in front of him with a wicked smile. Failed. But, whatever. The cheers of the coalition came to his ears. Minato held a bloody flying thunder god Kune and looked at Obito lying in a pool of blood. He said disappointedly, "The mark of the flying thunder god will not disappear. I didn't tell you this, Obito. So you're still alive. It would be great if you could become Hokage, but why? It's too easy. All that's left is to seal up Madara, who failed to revive, and the war will be over, as well as the big guy under his feet." Sasuke walked over and made his own arrangements. Unexpectedly, Obito, who was hit hard one after another, suddenly spoke up. "Why do you think the war is over, Uchiha traitor?" As soon as these words came out, Minato and Sasuke's faces suddenly changed. The next second, the 10 tails, which was pressed by the Maijinman, shrank instantly. Although Minato and Sasuke avoided it at the first time, They were still affected by the strong suction generated by the Ten Tails mutation. Fortunately, Naruto acted in time, and the two were able to get rid of the suction and escape from danger after rescuing the man. Naruto explained with a horrified look. He got rid of Madara's control. This guy has been making hand seals to transform into this form from the beginning. That is, the Ten Tails' Jinchuriki! Exclamation mark. Accompanied by flying white scales, a white figure with divine will replaced the Ten Tails' existence and floated in the air. It's not bad, it's not bad. The Rinnegan was stopped. He is worthy of being called the fastest fourth Hokage in the ninja world. Even after all the failures, Uchiha Madara can still laugh? There must be other plans. It should be so, but even Obito has fallen. What chips does Uchiha Madara have to turn the tables? To activate the Rinnegan, you need the Rinnegan, and Obito only has one now. Maybe Uchiha Madara's plan is on the other one. What? The mark of the Flying Thunder God will not disappear, which means this is the one left on Obito 16 years ago. You can't imagine it, relying on the legacy of 16 years ago, he made a crucial blow at this moment. I don't think it's the time to care about these things now. Everyone should quickly find out if there are any strange marks left on your body. Remember it, so that others won't use it to attack you like Obito in the future. I'm overthinking it. Except for a few people, how many people in the ninja world can survive after being marked by Flying Thunder God? Do you really think that the reputation of the fourth Hokage is earned by his face? It's all because of that Flying Thunder God Kune. Tisk. As soon as Sasuke opened his mouth, I felt that the situation was not good. This flag was stuck on his forehead. How can Sasuke treat Uchiha Madara and the Ten Tails as cats and dogs? That can be easily dealt with. It seems that among the three, Obito is the easiest to deal with. Although I knew that something would happen, I didn't expect that the source was actually Obito. The Ten Tails was sucked into Obito's body. This is the Ten Tails Jinchuriki. Damn, this development is too sudden. No. I suddenly remembered that the seal Obito just made was different from the seal Nagato made when he performed Samsara. This was planned all along. So Uchiha Madara was making things easier for Obito. Not only did he fail to revive, but even the Ten Tails fell into Obito's hands. Did Uchiha Madara expect this? If not, then we'll have to laugh at him. I tend not to, because they all want to become the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, so this form must be stronger than their original form. Then why does Uchiha Madara think that his backup plan can still work? Obito raised his eyebrows in surprise. He originally thought that the reason why Naruto and the others were able to win the war must be that they successfully prevented him and Uchiha Madara from becoming the Ten Tails Jinchuriki. Because according to Uchiha Madara's description, Obito really couldn't imagine how he would lose after becoming the Ten Tails Jinchuriki. But the result is that it develops in this direction, which makes Obito, who has completely lost interest in this world, feel a little curious in his heart. After all, this can also be regarded as a good lesson, so as to avoid repeating the same mistakes when he goes to another world in the future. However, before that, Obito must first clear all the things that do not belong to him. Thinking of this, Obito touched his back. In addition to the heart and the right half of the body, I didn't expect that there are some more things here. The disappearance of the Ten Tails naturally attracted the attention of the allied ninjas present. Through Hinata's white eyes, everyone understood the ins and outs of the matter. However, compared to most people who have only a superficial understanding, through the family records of Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama, or through the tailed beasts of Naruto and Killer Bee, and even through their own perception of Minato and Sasuke, they can deeply understand how difficult Obito is at the moment. Chapter 721. No matter how difficult the enemy is, the above-mentioned people still have to fight when they need to. The first generation suddenly attacked, and more than a dozen already fell from the sky and hit Obito, one by one from small to large, pressing Obito firmly on the ground. Even if you become a Jinchuriki, the Maijinman can continue to suppress you. Naruto cheered when he saw this, but this joy did not last for 2 seconds. More than a dozen Maijinman exploded and scattered all over the ground. In the unbelievable eyes of the second and third generations, Obito, who was half kneeling on the ground, shot out 5 red chakras from the pointed scales on his back, which changed into the shape of a palm and grabbed the 4 sides of the barrier and pulled it hard. In this way, the 4 red yang formation that could withstand the attack of the Ten Tails was instantly shattered and disintegrated. Tisk, I can feel Obito's power even through the sky. Really? Apart from his appearance being a little bit extraordinary, I don't see where he's so strong. It's a hard to describe feeling, a bit like God. To see if he's strong or not, just look at the reactions of the Hokage and Naruto. The first Hokage is still as fierce as ever. Whether you're a tailed beast or a Jinchuriki, just use the Meijinman to smash you. It's not that simple. As expected, it was destroyed in an instant. Wow. The Ten Tails was able to suppress it firmly before, but how come it couldn't even hold on for a few seconds against the Jinchuriki? Hiss. Damn, there's something even more exaggerated. The four red yang formation was actually destroyed by that grab. This method is completely incomprehensible. The barrier that can block the Ten Tails tailed beast ball was destroyed by those chakra hands. Well, in fact, the Ten Tails has been sucked into Obito's body, so there is no need to maintain the barrier for the time being. This will also allow the Hokage to free up their hands to deal with Obito together. Indeed, that kind of super large-scale barrier is very suitable for trapping monsters of the Ten Tails size, but it is a bit cumbersome to use against humans like Obito. I really admire your optimism. It's obvious that the move has been cracked, but you can still say it so nicely. Looking at the first generation clone that disappeared in front of him due to the impact, Uchiha Madara also showed a serious expression for the strength shown by Obito at this time. However, for some reason, Obito did not find fault with Uchiha Madara for being controlled, but instead focused his attention on Naruto and the others. It was not until Minato could not help but speak and tried to dissuade him that the others noticed something was wrong with Obito. He seemed to have forgotten who he was, and his eyes were particularly confused. And just as Obito was stunned, a would-release clone of the first generation, together with the second and third generations, stood in front of Obito. Sensing the deep chakra in the other's body, the first generation said that Obito was stronger than him at this time. The second and third generations had to admit this, and their faces looked ugly. It's fun to watch you Hokage helpless, but I can't wait any longer. Uchiha Madara watched the action from afar, slowly stood up, and thought to himself, Obito has become another Six Paths sage. He may beat me to the punch before I can use my trump card. Uchiha Madara stopped laughing. It seems that things have indeed exceeded his expectations. Hell, he just tricked Obito. Now it's his turn to get his comeuppance. Why is Obito staring at Naruto and the others? Why doesn't he go find trouble with Uchiha Madara? What's going on? Amnesia. It seems that the Ten Tails Jinchuriki is different from ordinary Jinchuriki. I was just wondering if Obito would be unable to control the power of the Ten Tails because he just became a Jinchuriki. But he actually lost his memory. What the first Hokage said, it turns out that the previous Ten Tails was not stronger than him in his eyes. He had to wait until he became the Ten Tails Jinchuriki before he could surpass him. Isn't it obvious who is stronger and who is weaker? The first Hokage suppressed the Ten Tails as soon as he appeared. I even thought that even without the coalition, as long as he didn't have to maintain the barrier, he could slowly deal with the Ten Tails by himself. After all, his expression was too calm from beginning to end. Oh, it's like this. Uchiha Madara actually has some kind of killer to check and balance Obito. Unexpected, but reasonable. It's normal to prepare a few more remedial measures when you dare to use decades to set up such a situation, but before Uchiha Madara started to act, Obito instantly passed between the first and second Hokage. Under the influence of the black substance in his palms, he stretched out his arms and tore the two half of the person's body. Although he failed to dodge, the second generation also put several detonating tags on Obito during this moment of contact. After sternly asking the third generation and others to get out of the way, the violent explosion engulfed Obito's body, and the first generation's clone, which was about to be completely wood-turned, also tacitly hit the final blow, releasing several vine-like tree roots to tie up Obito. After the explosion, looking at Obito who was unharmed, the second generation had an unexpected expression on his face. I knew that this little fight was not enough to kill. I invented the impure world reincarnation, and the tactics that match it are naturally the same, but this is the first time I have used it myself. As he said, the second generation threw out several detonating tags with different patterns. Through chain-like summoning and detonation, it instantly caused a huge explosion that shook the entire battlefield. This was the forbidden technique invented by the second generation to match the impure world reincarnation, the multiplication detonating talisman. The allied ninjas who noticed the battle situation here instantly became excited as if they had been injected with chicken blood. Fortunately, The first generation poured cold water on everyone's heated brains in time to cool them down, which prevented most people from rushing forward rashly and dying. Fuck. So fast. Hiss. This. The clone of the first Hokage is fine, but the second Hokage is also famous for his speed, and he didn't even react. With his speed, if he wants to attack, how many people here can dodge? Should I say it's lucky that it was the impure world reincarnation? If it was a living person, wouldn't the second Hokage be dead in an instant? Oh, although he didn't dodge the attack, he also fought back. Second Hokage. Multiplying detonating talisman, a forbidden technique combined with impure world reincarnation. There are so many tricks. Ha, a tactic that requires death and resurrection to be performed. What does the second Hokage think? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 722. In addition to Conan's 600 billion detonating tags, I didn't expect to see another powerful ninjutsu performed with detonating tags. It's really powerful. As expected, as the smoke and dust produced by the explosion dissipated, a Obito floated in the air, his unharmed figure revealed, and at the same time, the black substance that had defeated the first and second generations before was seen extending from Obito's palm like a fluid and surrounding his body. With fast speed, high defense, and amazingly strong attack power, the third generation took the initiative to perform the Shuriken Shadow Clone with this insignificant information, and dozens of huge shurikens broke through the air and attacked Obito. For such an attack that ordinary people could not avoid, Obito just raised his left hand and held the black substance upright in front of his palm, and then the whole person shot out like a cannonball and disintegrated the third generation's offensive. The third generation was not discouraged by this, because he had learned some information about the black substance through this contact. It's very similar to Inoki's dust release, but it's fluid and can change according to the needs of attack and defense. While the third generation was analyzing, Obito's attack did not stop. The black substance on his right hand suddenly shot out and pierced the third generation's shoulder. In this regard, the third generation did not miss the opportunity and continued to analyze based on his own feelings. I'm afraid that it has integrated more than 4 types of nature changes, and its power is better than the bloodline limit, bloodline elimination. At this time, Obito had rushed to the third generation's eyes, stretched out his left hand at an unimaginable speed and grabbed the third generation's face. In this situation, watching the black substance on Obito's left hand turn back into a spherical shape, the third generation continued to analyze. However, the duration of the form change is limited. The next second, the black substance shot out from Obito's palm and shattered the third generation's upper body. No way, he took such a strong attack, but Obito was fine. What is that black thing? Did he block the attack with that? Why are you so excited? You can't be the same after becoming a Jinchuriki. Is it strange to block the attack of the second Hokage? I say, are you too concerned about the Jinchuriki? Even if he didn't become the Ten-Tails Jinchuriki, Obito could have avoided the attack by turning into hollow. Don't forget about Kakashi in the Kamui space. Besides, Obito seems to have lost his memory. He might have forgotten how to use Kamui. The third Hokage's attack is fine against ordinary ninjas, but it's a bit child's play to use it against the Ten-Tails Jinchuriki. If you don't understand, don't talk nonsense. This is the right way to do it. Before you know the details of the opponent, you must first use some simple means to collect intelligence, and then you can make targeted attacks. The rich experience of the third Hokage is reflected at this time, and relying on the body of the impure world reincarnation, he can ignore the influence of aging and the opponent's attack. He is simply the best intelligence collector, a material similar to the dust release, which means that you can't even touch it. The operability is much higher than the dust release, plus Obito's speed at this time. As long as he puts this thing on his body and moves around on the battlefield, he can instantly disintegrate the coalition. I remember the dust release is good like a ninjutsu that combines 3 properties. The fusion of more than 4 properties is not difficult to perform, but the strength must be ridiculously high. The analysis of the third Hokage is very accurate, but it seems useless. It is the kind of information that cannot be used even if you know it. According to Itachi, there is no invincible ninjutsu. Perhaps the breakthrough lies in the fact that the form change cannot be sustained. Watching the brief confrontation between the two, Naruto, who did not have time to make a move, shouted anxiously to Minato, "Dad, why didn't you use ninjutsu to transfer Grandpa Third to other places?" When Minato said that he could only transfer himself or people and objects that were indirectly in contact with his chakra, Sasuke scolded him angrily, "No. Shout, Naruto. Hokage are all reborn from the impure world reincarnation. They know they can't die, so they rush to the front to test the enemy's moves and abilities. You have time to worry, so you might as well spend more time analyzing it. Sasuke. What an excellent child." Minato sighed secretly, and then moved his eyes to Obito. "Even if it is the impure world reincarnation, it takes a little time to recover. I will delay it first and see if I can create an opportunity." At this time, the original body of the first generation couldn't help but want to come to support, but Uchiha Madara suddenly moved in front of him. "I can't wait. Hashirama." As a last resort, the first generation could only stop and confront Uchiha Madara. Naruto isn't it that the Guardian Alliance is addicted to protecting, and now they are planning to include even the dead. Sasuke is very calm, but if possible, I hope he can act on impulse like Naruto, so that the possibility of him going crazy later will not be too high. Did Uchiha Madara just say that he would use some killer move on Obito? Why is he still thinking about trouble with the first Hokage now? MD, why does it feel like Uchiha Madara is like a troublemaker now? Can't he be more quiet and not make trouble? This development is actually not bad. Using the first Hokage to replace Uchiha Madara, isn't this something everyone has considered from the beginning? After all, we can't really expect Uchiha Madara to just watch and not take action against the alliance. But Uchiha Madara has no reason to attack the coalition forces now. Unless he doesn't want to be resurrected as the Ten-Tails Jinchuriki. He must be killed before Obito regains consciousness. He can't still think that Obito will continue to cooperate with him. Obito leaped and flew towards Naruto and the others, but his body suddenly swelled in midair and lost control and fell to the ground. Looking at his body that instantly turned into a spherical shape, Minato immediately understood the situation. "I understand, although he has become a Jinchuriki, he has not fully adapted to the Ten-Tails. Take this opportunity to defeat him and use the long-lost Spiral Flash Super Wheel Dance Roar 3 styles." Mumbling the name of the unfortunate move, Minato's real body and shadow clone rushed towards Obito at the same time, each holding several Flying Thunder God Kune ready to go. However, before Minato launched his attack, Gamakachi was suddenly hit by an attack from the ground and flew away. Minato looked closely and found that it was Obito's upper body that stretched out and drilled into the ground. After knocking Gamakachi away, Obito shot a black stick at Naruto in the air. Chapter 723. Minato was too late to attack, but fortunately Sasuke used Susanoo to block Obito's attack. However, because of this moment of distraction, Minato and his shadow clone were kicked away by Obito's outstretched legs. Hey! What happened to Obito? He can't control the power of the Ten-Tails, so he shows amnesia and loss of control. Can this be a chance to defeat the enemy? Difficult. Don't forget, even in this uncontrollable situation, Obito relied on instinct to deal with the second and third Hokage, and he also knew how to defend himself with special means, so don't think you can easily defeat him. The body suddenly swelled up. If Obito couldn't control it until the end, would it explode on the spot? In that case, would the Ten-Tails die with it? You want to use the characteristic that if the Jinchuriki dies, the tailed beast will also die. From the current point of view, the Ten-Tails is quite different from the other tailed beasts, and it is likely that this weakness cannot be used. Ha. In such a tense situation, please don't be serious and funny in the fourth Hokage. Is there really such a thing that makes people feel this is a shameful move? Has anyone seen what it looks like? I can't imagine it in my mind. Obito is becoming less and less human. He can even stretch his body into the shape of noodles. A familiar scene. Did Orochimaru use a similar move when Naruto and Orochimaru fought? Looking at Obito coldly, Sasuke's mind flashed with a photo of Team 7. At this time, Naruto, who fell behind him, somehow received Sasuke's thoughts and looked a little dazed. "Sasuke, it's not you." Sasuke opened his mouth, accompanied by the cut Naruto in the photo in his mind, and said coldly, "The one who cut off the past is me." The inexplicable declaration, and I don't know if it stimulated Obito, only to see his upper body suddenly rushing forward at a speed that Naruto and Sasuke had no time to react, grabbing the faces of the two with both hands, and the black ball that crushed everything was about to be thrown. In this situation, Minato's eyes were bloodshot, and he wanted to use Flying Thunder God to save the two without saying a word, but at this moment he suddenly found that the Flying Thunder God mark on Obito had disappeared. Seeing that the two were about to die, at the critical moment, Naruto stretched out two chakra arms and grabbed Sasuke and Minato respectively. Minato did not miss this opportunity and instantly used Flying Thunder God to distance the two from Obito. Scared to death. I thought I was dead. Naruto sat down on the ground in embarrassment. Looking at him yelling, Minato thought proudly, haha, my son is no worse than Sasuke. Ah. What is Sasuke saying suddenly? Why did you cut off the Naruto in the photo in your mind for no apparent reason? Isn't it obvious? It's what Sasuke said to Naruto before, that he wanted to cut off the bond with him. No. I know Sasuke is talking about this. But why did he say this at this time? It doesn't make sense. By the way, he just said he wanted to become Hokage not long ago. Why did he suddenly want to sever his bond with Naruto? And it seems that he is unwilling to accept Obito and wants to complete this matter first. Get used to it, after all, it is the brain circuit of Uchiha. Sasuke was also a little confused about this. After all, his experience was different from that of Sasuke on the sky, so he didn't really understand what was going on in his mind. Of course, no matter what he was thinking about, Sasuke would definitely not accept a barrage of comments on the sky that despised their Uchiha brain circuits from time to time, because in his opinion, his spirit was very good. Even the doctor praised him for being normal, and it had nothing to do with words like lunatics. Why does Naruto look like he has read Sasuke's thoughts? Did something happen that I don't know about? You said it so coolly, but you were caught by Obito the next second. Sasuke, be careful when you act cool next time. Ha ha ha. Sasuke has failed to act cool a few times before. He was defeated when fighting Itachi and the Sound 4. This should be the most dangerous time for Naruto in this war. If his brain was a little slower at that time, he and Sasuke would be dead now. It was really dangerous. Fortunately, my dad and I cooperated well. Naruto breathed a sigh of relief for himself on the sky curtain, and then heard Minato compare himself with Sasuke, and immediately pursed his lips in dissatisfaction. That is really something. Why do you have to bring up that arrogant Sasuke? I don't know what he's thinking all day long. Naruto and the others resolved the crisis, but Obito's condition continued to develop in the direction of being out of control. The swelling spread along his noodle-like body to his face. Amid Obito's roar, Obito, who was no longer recognizable as a human, raised his right hand. He was clearly aiming at Naruto and the others, but when the attack was launched, it was inexplicably deviated and half of his body was swallowed up by the violent explosion. Looking at the scene in front of them, Naruto and Sasuke were a little bit unbelievable, and Minato calmly expressed his judgment. His attack missed the target. The power of the Ten Tails is too strong. Obito can only barely maintain his consciousness and cannot control it at all. Despite the chaos and disorder, Obito showed real strength, so the few people did not take it lightly. Minato took out 6 Flying Thunder God Kunai, thinking about his long-cherished Spiral Flash Super Wheel Dance Roar 3 styles, and said to Naruto and Sasuke, I will create an opportunity for you. You two join forces to attack him. From Obito's current situation, he was not fully prepared before becoming the Ten Tails Jinchuriki. It feels like he was forced to absorb the Ten Tails reluctantly. Here there may be some key steps. Uchiha Madara should master them himself. After all, both of them want to be the leader, so they must keep some tricks. Hey. He hit himself. This is a sign of complete loss of control. Obito absorbed the body of the Ten Tails, but his consciousness may be swallowed by the Ten Tails in turn. The risk of becoming a Jinchuriki is inevitable. No, how powerful is the Spiral Flash Super Wheel Dance Roar 3 styles of the 4th Hokage? Can't we use other moves to deal with Obito? Why do we have to use this? Chapter 724. Looking at his confident look, it should be a trump card or something, hoping to get rid of Obito in one fell swoop. Rin. Obito, who looked confused, suddenly said this name, and then opened his mouth to let out a heart-wrenching howl. Minato once again remembered the scene of encouraging Obito in the past, and remembered the response given by the sunny boy, of course, I will work hard to become Hokage. As Obito kept saying Rin, Minato shot 6 kunai with cold eyes, and Obito's pretended indifferent answer seemed to linger in his ears. In this case, there is not much time to deal with the girls. Right, teacher. At the same time, In Obito's consciousness space, accompanied by the emergence of a team photo with a missing corner, Obito, who had lost his right arm and was pulled all over his body by vine-like tree roots, appeared here. Tisk, although the fourth Hokage was decisive in his actions, he was actually not at peace in his heart. He kept thinking about the past Obito. It will be clear if you compare the Obito in his memory with the present. The contrast is so great. How can you let him adapt to it in a short time? Look at Obito now. He still said that he didn't start the war because of Rin. Maybe he did have the idea of changing the ninja system, but it is obvious that Rin is his deepest obsession. Huh? What's the matter with this Obito with a broken arm? Subconscious. Suddenly, Obito screamed in pain. The tree roots on his body tore off Obito's left arm, and the photo also lost a corner belonging to Kakashi. But Obito's screams did not stop there. This time, his upper and lower body were forcibly separated. As expected, only Rin's smiling face was left in the photo. Unfortunately, the split did not spare the last corner of the photo. As Rin's face in the photo split, Obito's face was also torn apart by the tree roots. Rin's face in the photo was reflected in the cracked Sharingan. Obito, who is unwilling to lose this obsession, restored his split body in a hysterical roar. Finally, when Obito in the photo was completely restored, he regained his consciousness and his body returned to normal. He held a black tin staff, 9 black balls floated behind him, and 2 sharp horns, one long and one short, grew on his forehead. Finally done, teacher. Looking at Minato rushing towards him, Obito said calmly. If I'm not mistaken, what is shown here is the erosion of Obito by the power of the 10 tails. Friends, teachers, and even myself can be abandoned, but the girl I love can never be abandoned. Uchiha's love is really heavy and sinful. When I thought of Lin, I instantly regained consciousness as if I had been injected with chicken blood. I hate this unreasonable way of becoming stronger the most. What's unreasonable about it? There are many examples of people bursting out because of hatred, love, anger, and courage on the sky screen. It's because emotions are uncontrollable that I think this method is unreasonable. After all, most people agree with a step-by-step way of becoming stronger. Kakashi didn't know how many times he sighed today. Combining Obito's obsession with the analysis of Uchiha by the second Hokage, Kakashi completely understood the choices Obito had made over the years. However, this understanding is in serious conflict with Kakashi's idea of protecting Konoha and his companions. Although it won't make him turn against Obito, after all, after more than a year of psychological adjustment, Kakashi has reached the same awareness as himself on the sky, but his mood will inevitably become bad. After all, that is his friend who he has been thinking about for more than 10 years. In short, find out where Obito is as soon as possible, before everything starts. As for whether he will be imprisoned or executed at that time, Kakashi's expression is gloomy, and he silently sets off towards the next target. So this is what the 10 Tails Jinchuriki really looks like. I always feel a strong sense of deja vu. Isn't this similar to that? Momoshiki? Yes, doesn't he look a bit like that Momoshiki? They both have horns on their foreheads, the same pale skin color, and the Samsara eye. The two have a lot in common. After all, Momoshiki and the others are also planning to kill the tailed beasts. Perhaps someone in their family became a 10 Tails Jinchuriki like Obito, so they may have inherited similar characteristics. Minato didn't have time to think about what happened to Obito. He turned around and held the Flying Thunder God kunai and slashed at Obito's neck. Unexpectedly, the kunai broke the moment it touched the black staff. The unexpected change made Minato after paying the price of losing his right arm. He returned to Naruto and Sasuke in a mess. Although I was hit, it doesn't matter. I dodged it with Flying Thunder God. Minato comforted him, but Obito pointed calmly, it's hard to say. Following the direction of his finger, Minato noticed a black ball stuck to the gap of his broken arm. At the moment when the black ball burst into an ominous light, Minato, who had figured out the current situation, wanted to move with a black ball, but saw another hand with faster speed holding the black ball at this time. Showing the speed that the inventor of Flying Thunder God should have, the second generation took the black ball away from the original place at the critical moment, and during this period, he also moved Obito together, allowing him to personally experience the power of his own moves. Accompanied by the sudden burst of surging energy not far away, the second generation returned to them in one piece under Naruto's worried eyes. Don't worry, it's only the clone that was lost. I had already marked him when I came into contact with him before. Amazing. Have you learned my father's moves? Uncle second generation on the Hokage rock. Naruto praised happily, but the second generation was speechless for his contradictory remarks. It should be the fourth generation Hokage who is learning from me. Also, you should call me second generation Hokage. That black tin the staff is made of the same material as the black ball, right? Did the fourth Hokage notice the third Hokage's attempt before? Of course he did, but he didn't experience it like the third Hokage, so he didn't react for a while. How long has it been? Why hasn't the third Hokage come to deliver the information? Don't think that a long time has passed just because the Sky Curtain slowed down their battle process. In fact, everything now happened in a very short period of time. Didn't you notice that the second Hokage, who was injured earlier, has not recovered yet? Chapter 725. Tisk. Ever since Obito became the Ten-Tails Jinchuriki, the title of the fastest man in the ninja world has become unworthy of its name. Can you imagine that Namuke's Minato would be so embarrassed in close combat because he couldn't react in time, huh? Fortunately, the second Hokage is finally back. I feel that the fourth Hokage's response just now might not be in time. It's not good for the heart to beat too fast. Such exciting scenes are one after another, don't be too nervous. Even if the fourth Hokage didn't react just now, Naruto and Sasuke might not be able to stop Obito's attack, and the fourth Hokage doesn't care. Anyway, he is the one who is reborn from the impure world reincarnation. Ha ha. Obito just wiped off the flying thunder god mark of the fourth Hokage, but turned around and was marked again by the second Hokage. Do you like to add things to him so much? Returned the attack. According to Obito's performance, that half of his body was lost by his own attack just now. This should cause him considerable damage. But Obito was out of control just now, but now he has returned to normal, and with Obito's human body, as long as there is the support of the Ten-Tails chakra, even if most of the body tissues are lost, it should be easy to recover. Ha ha. I am amused by Naruto again. He snatched the ownership of Flying Thunder God from the second Hokage with just one mouth. He has become the host. You are so disrespectful. The second Hokage is speechless. Compared to the second Hokage, who still has the leisure to fight for the copyright, the battle between the first Hokage and Uchiha Madara has entered a white-hot state. The circling wooden dragon and Susanoo collided fiercely. Facing the second Hokage, who always avoided fighting and was unwilling to show his true strength, Uchiha Madara, the first generation of the powerful ninja, said coldly, "Although there is no time, there is something that must be done." As he spoke, Uchiha Madara showed the complete form of Susanoo. After the first generation also performed the corresponding woodman technique, Uchiha Madara said something incomprehensible, "You will be mine later." The two started fighting again. Facing the battle that easily destroyed mountains and changed the terrain, the allied ninjas who were watching were deeply shocked and felt a serious sense of frustration. They felt that this was not a place they should set foot in. Fortunately, Shikamaru noticed this situation at the first time. With the help of Ino, he immediately conveyed his thoughts to everyone, saying that even if they were weak, they might have a place to help later. This calmed the anxiety and depression of the allied forces, and they cheered up and paid attention to the movements on the battlefield at all times. Tisk. This kind of giant war, ordinary ninjas have no room to intervene. Even if they get a little closer, they will be hit by the aftermath and suffer heavy casualties. I am speechless. Uchiha Madara knows that he has no time, but he must compete with the first generation Hokage at this time. Can't he do something serious first and fight with Obito to the death? If you think so, will Uchiha Madara think so too? Do you really think he's stupid? What does Uchiha Madara mean by this inexplicable sentence at the end? It is so ambiguous. I wonder if he has some special hobby. So, the reason why he insisted on going to war with the first generation Hokage is to get something on him, and then he can launch the killer move against Obito. Well, this makes sense. It can not only compete with the first generation of Hokage, but also prepare for the subsequent plan. It is much easier to accept than Uchiha Madara suddenly becoming a battle maniac. Why do you seem to stand on the side of Uchiha Madara? I hope his plan fails, because if Uchiha Madara becomes the Ten-Tails Jinchuriki, he will definitely be more difficult to deal with than Obito. Sharingan and Wood Release. These two techniques against tailed beasts are already in Madara's hands. What else does he want from me? Senju Hashirama was puzzled. After thinking about it and getting nothing, he turned his attention to Senju Tobirama on the side. Senju Tobirama, who knew the tailed beasts, Uchiha Madara, and his elder brother stroked his chin and thought for a moment before giving his own guess, Senjutsu. Sure enough, some people are still shaken. But seeing such a scene, only a few are not shaken. Like Shikamaru said, just do your best, maybe it will come in handy later, because no one wants to accompany Uchiha Madara and Obito to dream. In the deep pit filled with smoke and dust, a black ball cut through the air and returned to Naruto and the others, and then as the black ball turned into fluid and returned to its original state, Obito's unharmed figure appeared. Blocked? Really fast. It seems that we can't defeat him with just attacking. The second generation looked solemn. The more they came into contact, the more they could feel how powerful Obito was at the moment. Sure enough, we still have to rely on my Spiral Flash Super Wheel Dance Roar 3 styles. I'll create opportunities. Minato made a serious suggestion, but when he heard the name of his unfortunate move, although the occasion was not right, the second generation couldn't help but say, "You are not deliberately making fun of me, are you? If it were normal times, I would definitely be amused by your move name, but in front of this guy, I'm not in the mood to joke now." At this time, Sasuke cast Amaterasu without warning, and then together with Naruto, they launched an attack without saying hello. Seeing Amaterasu being easily blocked by Obito's tin staff, Minato couldn't help but shout, "Sasuke! Naruto! Did I say it? I'll create opportunities. I'll create opportunities, yes." Sasuke responded, and Naruto followed suit, "No. It's us. Let Dad and the second generation do the main attack." The second generation saw this and didn't act pretentiously. He raised his hand and left a mark of Flying Thunder God on Minato. The speed of Flying Thunder God used by the clone is not fast enough. Let's use Flying Thunder God wheel together. You also leave a mark on me. Unscathed, is the difference between before and after regaining consciousness so big? Did you hear it? It was blocked by that black ball. The opponent's speed was too fast. Ha ha ha. No, fourth Hokage, why are you so obsessed with your Spiral Flash Super Wheel Dance Roar 3 styles? Can you use some other moves? You've said it so many times, it makes me a little excited. What kind of technique is this? The second generation Hokage has become a complainer now, and his previous cool image has disappeared completely. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.